Alright, what's up, guys? It's your boy D Breezy up in this bitch. And today I wanted to come to you with a video I've wanted to make for a couple years now. I'm gonna do a full game room tour. Um, First thing I want to do is just kind of show you around the room how it normally is set up. And then I'm gonna move some things around so I can kind of show things in more detail. And then after that, I'm gonna talk about kind of my favorite games from each system that I have. So here's my TV. Got a little Alpha Omega Sin going on. Gotta have that. You should definitely check him out. Look at that game collection, by the way. Holy shit. There's all my little trinkets and shit around the TV. Little Godzilla there. Then the game consoles. I have my Xbox One, Wii U, NES, N64, PS4, the Star Wars PS4 Pro Limited Edition, the Final Fantasy 13 Japanese exclusive PS3 console, and my OG Xbox. And if you really want to see back here, there's my Nintendo Switch with the Pro controller. Definitely buy one of those. The best controller on the Switch by far. Alright. Here's the couch and my crazy ass posters up there. So yeah, every time you watch a video where I stream, this is where I'm sitting. Pretty damn nice couch. If you look down here, this is the Godzilla Blu-ray collection, the newest one that just came out about a year ago. Should definitely buy that. If I remember right, it has the first 15 films in the series, so definitely worth the price, and the packaging is absolutely incredible. Very high quality. Move over here, have my badass Metallica poster from the first time I saw them up in Baltimore. Kind of some of my Star Wars memorabilia, and Mr. Meeseeks there. Gotta love the Star Wars stuff. There's my Xbox One games, some of my Xbox 360 games, and my PS1 games. I don't have too many PS1 games yet, but you know, we'll get there. It's my Rock Band 4 drum set. Pretty good condition, I think. And it'll be hard to see, but like I said, later we'll move all this shit out of the way. Down here, like I said, you're pretty much not going to be able to see anything. You know, it's tough to see, but I have my other 360 games, OG Xbox, some of my PS3 stuff. And by the way, you gotta say what's up to Jedi, Mickey, Mario, and Moses. I mean, what a badass. Parting the seas, he's the GOAT. Takes holy shit to a whole new level. And you can't really see down here either right now, but it's my other PS3 stuff, PS2, GameCube, and Wii U stuff. And that's just a bunch of random shit over there. Here's my Batman Secret Lab chair. Secret Lab is fantastic. I highly recommend getting a chair by them. I'm not sponsored by them. It's just a badass chair. There's my replica Keyblade. This is a poster from the second time I saw Metallica in Charlotte. God, I love that poster. Up here we have some of my statues that I really like. This is the SpongeBob statue that I keep yapping about in my live streams. Really high quality. Definitely worth buying the special edition just for that. There's my Sora Kingdom Hearts 2 statue. But look at this shit. It has one fault. There's no chain on the keyblade. Sorry for the shadows, but can you see that shit? The whole thing about the keyblade is which chain you have on it. There's no fucking chain. I don't know what happened there. And then this is the PS4 God of War statue that came with the special edition. Really badass game and statue. Look at that detail. Incredible. Okay, let's back up a bit. Move this chair out of the way. There's my record player down there. And Snoopy. He's in slump mode right now, but he'll be alright. Okay. Have some of my other collectibles and statues here. This came with the Doom Special Edition, the 2016 Doom. It's hard to see, but that is the Special Edition of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. The Metallica Live Shit Binge and Purge box set, which the Seattle concert on there is my all-time favorite live album. You got the Wolf Link from, is it Twilight Princess? I could be wrong. But yeah. And you have Joker. The most badass villain of all time. Cannot be disputed. Okay, we'll move down to the shelf here. There's my Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora action figure. And my CDs. There's my Halo Reach Special Edition on 360. And the Super Nintendo Classic in the box. I've only played it once. I'm trying to keep it in good condition. And there's just my random ass CDs that probably don't care about. And I did put my games recently in alphabetical order, finally. But you will see down here at the bottom that, well, obviously the CDs and the Blu-rays are not in alphabetical order, just because I'm not going through that shit. I'll talk about movies and music another time. Here's my PS4 games. Like I said, hard to see right now, but I'll move all this shit out of the way. And this right here is the special edition of my third favorite game of all time, Kingdom Hearts 3. There's some of my Blu-ray collection. And the bottom shelf is a little more of my Blu-ray collection. Okay. So that is the general view of my room and my setup. Let's get into more detail in the video, shall we? Let's do it. Alright, now that we got the intro out of the way, we can start with the Xbox One section. And some of the 360 games there. Here's the rest of my 360 collection, and the original Xbox, and some of the PS3 collection. Down here we have the rest of my PS3 stuff, my PS2 stuff, my GameCube games, and my Wii U games. Alright guys, last but not least, let's talk about my PS4 collection. I think as far as exclusives go, PlayStation definitely won this generation, by far. I do have an Xbox One, as you saw earlier, and I love it, but The exclusives just weren't there like they were on PS4. But I will talk about them more later when I get into my favorite games for the system. And also a quick note, I do have a bunch of cartridge games, but they're just not on my shelf because there's not really a good spot for them. But I will talk about them in the next section. Might be hard to see with the glare. Alright, now let's talk about some of my favorite games. Alright guys, it's the moment you've been waiting for. Let's talk about some damn games. Like I mentioned earlier, my first console I ever got was the handheld, the fantastic Game Boy Color. Now, one thing I should mention, I was a kid at some point. I didn't have much money because I wasn't working yet. And, over the years, you trade in some games, you accidentally break some games, shit happens. So, I don't have all the games that I used to. I do hate that. But I still, over the years I've tried to buy some of those old games that I miss. But whatever. I'll shut the hell up now and let's get to it. We'll start with the fantastic Game Boy Color. Like I mentioned earlier, this is my original yellow one from when I was a kid. You can see the sticker on the back is a little messed up, but that's okay. It's, this thing's fucking, 20 years old? Maybe a little over, so but a fantastic handheld console. And, I have a lot of good memories with this thing. Let's talk about some games. So the first one, I got this game for my 9th birthday from my mom. And this was the very first Pokemon game I remember playing. At least the RPG versions. Pokemon Gold. This game, when I played it, I remember for my 9th birthday, my mom took me to Graceland. And, that was badass. And on the road trip there, she gave me this. And I played it the entire way. I was blown away. It was just a fantastic experience. And since this was gold, this had some of the Gen 2 Pokemon. And it was just, some things I was experiencing and seeing for the first time. And that's the kind of nostalgia you just can't, nothing can top that, Such a badass memory, Things have changed a lot since then, but I still have this game, I still have the memories, and I can relive those memories anytime I want. Fantastic. And I'll also mention now that, I won't really go into detail with all the games. A lot of games in my collection are very popular, so you already know about them. You don't need to know. So some of them I'll just kind of show to you. You know what I mean? So next up, I have Pokemon Silver. Basically the same exact game as Gold. Same shit. Whatever. I got that later. The original Pokemon Red. This game is fantastic. Having all original 150 Pokemon. Maybe 151, I'm not sure. But yeah, fantastic game. And then on the Game Boy Color, they released Crystal, which is very badass. And I'm sorry if you can't really see the cartridges, if it's kind of blurry, But there you go, that looks good. Then, sticker's kind of fucked up. But Super Mario Land. See, there you go. This game is fantastic. At least for a Game Boy game at the time. It's not, the games on NES, but having this on the go at the time, phenomenal. This was the best shit ever on a road trip right here. And this is the Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets game on Game Boy Color. This game was really badass at the time. It's kind of like an RPG from what I remember. It's been a while since I played it, and I don't think I ever beat it, so I need to go back at some point and try to finish this game. Yeah, this one's really cool. As you can see, it's kind of clear at the top. It has the battery in there to save. It's funny, you can actually see that shit because it's clear. Okay, the next system I will talk about, the Nintendo DS, and this is the red Mario Kart DS Special Edition. I got this for Christmas at the time. You know, it's still pretty good condition, I think. You can see some shit there. But yeah, and in the cartridge slot, I have the port of Super Mario Bros. 3 for Game Boy Advance. You gotta have that at all times. Yeah, DS is a really badass system, I think. And here's some of the games I have. I don't have too many anymore. Sadly, I traded a lot of them in. And for the games I do have, I was a kid, I was a dumbass, and I threw the cases away. So, you know, whatever. But here's Mario Kart DS. Came with the system. Fantastic game. I think it had online multiplayer. I could be wrong, but I didn't really have good internet at the time, so I couldn't really do that. But yeah, it's fun. You know, some nice new tracks on there. Whatever. Alright. This one's cool. Tetris DS. Let me see that. This game is really awesome because, like, it's kind of, the main mode is kind of like a marathon. And every 10 lines that you get, it kind of, the pieces come down faster and faster and faster. And it's just a lot of fun. Towards the end, it gets really action-packed. It starts out in the background, you can see a bunch of Mario levels. It transitions into Metroid and Zelda, and it's just really badass. Fun game, you should definitely check that out. And then, new Super Mario Brothers. If I ever decide to do a strategy guide video, which I probably definitely should, I don't have too many, but whatever, the ones I have are cool. I have this guide, and I got it at Target in my hometown when this came out. And this game is phenomenal. It's cool to have a really high quality side-scrolling Mario game on the go, especially at that time. Holy shit. Fantastic deal. But Nintendo, one small fucking complaint. Just one. A small little complaint. These games keep coming out with this title. This isn't new anymore. This came out in, doesn't say, but I believe 2005. This isn't new anymore, bro. Stop putting new in the goddamn title. Doesn't work. Let's see, the next console we'll talk about is the PSP. This is a fantastic, powerful handheld for the time. There's the back. There you go. This isn't my original PSP. I just bought this one a couple months ago, and it sucks. Like, not the console, but my original one that I had was the white limited edition Star Wars Darth Vader PSP. And I don't have it anymore. I was a dumbass and sold it in high school, but you could Google a picture of it. It's beautiful. It came with Star Wars Battlefront Rogue Squadron, I believe is the title. And that's a cool game. I don't have it anymore. But yeah, the PSP is great. Like I said, I just rebought it, so I don't have too many games. And I haven't honestly really played any of these yet, but I'll mention them. The first one I bought, Test Drive Unlimited. And once again, I'm sorry if it's difficult to see the covers. Lighting's weird in here. Yeah, this game's cool from what I can tell. You travel around one of the islands in Hawaii, and you just race and collect cars and buy new houses, and it really does look cool. The graphics at the time look solid, you know. I'm sure it has a consistent frame rate. Probably can't really see. There you go, you can probably kind of see that. Looks pretty good. The next one is Ratchet & Clank Size Matters. Once again, I haven't played this yet, but it does look pretty badass. It's Ratchet & Clank, so how can it be bad? And this one is exclusive to the PSP. It didn't come out on the PS2 or PS3 or anything. And, you know, one complaint I have with the PSP, the one analog stick. And so I'm sure with the 3D controls, it's going to be kind of awkward to move the camera around, but, you know, I'm sure it's great no matter what. The next one is Disgaea Afternoon of Darkness. Now, I haven't played this either, sadly, yet. I haven't had the time. You know, my gaming backlog just keeps getting pushed further and further back. But if I remember right from reading about it, this is basically the same exact game as the original Disgaea on, I want to say PS2. Not sure if it was on like the Xbox or anything. But yeah, it's a tactic style RPG. You know, and I've just heard it's very good. So eventually I'm going to get to that. Alright, the next system I want to talk about is the PlayStation Vita. Sorry for the reflection there. There's the back, there's a little touchpad back there, which was a cool feature at the time. The PS Vita was cool. For one thing, it has 2 fucking analog sticks. Can you believe that shit? Incredible. Sony just thinks of everything, don't they? But here, I'll mention a couple games for it. This is probably, sorry for the bitch-ass GameStop sticker, but this is probably the main reason to buy a Vita, or at least one of the main ones. Persona 4 Golden. Persona 4 is a fantastic game, one of the best RPGs on the PS2, and they re-released it for this with extra story, extra characters, extra endings, just a ton of bonus shit. And I'm one of those guys that doesn't like to spoil games, so I won't really go into detail about it, but if you buy a Vita or if you have a PS2, this is a must play. Buy this right now. Fantastic RPG. And it's Atlas, so what the hell do you expect? The next game is Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time. This is a Vita exclusive, even though I haven't played it yet. I got a good deal on it at one of my local game stores, so I was like, fuck it, I'll pick it up. But Sly Cooper's a badass series. It started on PS2, and they really need to bring that back for the PS5. You know, I know they're bringing back Ratchet and Clank, so fuck it, why not? Bring back Sly Cooper. I have a shitty GameStop case here, but this is Final Fantasy X HD. You know, this game is fantastic. I also have the original on the PS2, but it's cool to be able to take it on the go like this, you know? Very fun. You could probably put over 100 hours into this game, so you really get your money's worth out of it. That's what I'm starting to realize as I get older. RPGs are really the way to go, because you get your money worth. You know, you get your money out of it. You know, and it's just fantastic stories, characters. Really pulls on the heartstrings, you know? Gotta love RPGs. Alright, this one is Killzone Mercenary. Once again, gotta love GameStop stickers and shit. This is another exclusive on the Vita. And obviously it's Killzone, it's a first-person shooter. But my god. This is PS3 console quality Killzone right here. On a fucking handheld. It just blows my mind. Like, you just load in between cutscenes like it's nothing. You know, there's no loading screens. The gameplay is great. You know, it's nice to have a first-person shooter with 2 analog sticks for once. So yeah, this is another must-buy on the Vita. And I have one more. This is the God of War collection. If I remember right, this includes God of War 1 and 2 that were originally on PS2, remastered in HD. So it's cool once again to have them on the Vita and take them on the go. I did, when I bought this, I did complete God of War 1 on here. Not 2, you know, whatever, but I'll get to that eventually. God of War is a fantastic PlayStation exclusive series. I haven't played the games on the PSP yet, but I would like to buy those eventually. I've heard they're great. I think there's 2. There's one, is it Chains of Olympus? I think, and I forget the name of the other one, so you'll have to forgive me for that one. But, yeah. Let's move on to the next system. Alright, the next system here is the Nintendo 3DS. And this is badass right here. Well, let me get the name correct. The new 3DS XL. By far the worst named console of all time, Nintendo. I don't know what the hell you were thinking. But once you get past the dumbass name, this is a fantastic handheld. And this is the Pokemon Sun and Moon limited edition console. And if you look right here, hey, there's Pokemon Moon. Fantastic game. Yeah, I love this console to death. I don't play it enough because, once again, the backlog is way out. Yeah, let's talk about some games. Alright, cool. We're going to start with the big one here. This game right here. Holy shit. Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. This was the game that made me want a 3DS. Because I would say Kingdom Hearts is my favorite game franchise of all time. All time. Now, here's the funny thing. I got the original Kingdom Hearts on PS2. That was my reason for getting the PS2. And I've been playing it since then. I still don't fully understand this fucking story. This story is very confusing. You know, it just goes all over the place. There's so many prequels and fucking sideways games and shit. It just blows your mind. But the gameplay and the characters and the story, absolutely fantastic. This game is definitely worth picking up, but if you don't have a 3DS, it is included in the collections on like PS3, PS4. That shit's on everything now, so go pick that up. God, I love this fucking game. Alright, the next one, Super Mario 3D Land. Another game I really wanted when I thought about picking up the 3DS. Note that I did play Mario 3D World on the Wii U first, which was fine because I knew what to expect with this. I believe this came out first. But yeah, it's in 3D. It's cool to turn the 3D up if you want and view it. You know, it's a gorgeous game. Great level design, great graphics, great gameplay. It's a fucking Mario game. What else do you expect? Dude, buy this day one. Like I said, a lot of the games I talk about are probably going to be, you know, just completely common sense, but trust me, they're worth picking up. And here's, you know, Pokemon Moon. I showed you that. Let's bring this up again. New Super Mario Bros. 2 on the 3DS. Now, this game is fantastic. Another side-scrolling, you know, Super Mario game. There's a shit ton of coins in this game, like all kinds of shit to collect, which is fun. But once again, Nintendo, this shit's not new anymore, okay? You know, this came out in 2012. It's not new anymore. Come up with better fucking titles. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna buy it either way, but just a little more effort into the title, because this isn't new anymore. Still definitely worth playing though. Okay, now let's move on to the Nintendo Switch. You know, slowly becoming one of my favorite consoles. Honestly, I don't play it in handheld mode that much. You know, I usually just hook it up to the TV. And like I said earlier, I have the Pro Controller, so it's fantastic. But, yeah, it's a fantastic system. Super Mario Party. This game, honestly, for me, it's not as good as the Mario Party games on like N64, but this game is solid. And one thing I wasn't expecting, very difficult. Rosalina in this game is a bitch. She will kick your ass. But the board design is cool. The new mini games are nice. I think my main complaint is just having to play with those minuscule fucking Joy-Cons. I hate the Joy-Cons so much. When they're connected to the console, they're fine. But I bought the Pro Controller for a reason, Nintendo. Give me Pro Controller support on this. It'll be a perfect game. Alright. Big one here. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Holy shit. If you love Smash Bros., this game is worth buying a Switch for on its own. Absolutely. No hesitation. It's got new stages. It's got the new adventure mode, which is really fun. It starts out, this just light, and this villain shows up, decimates fucking everybody all at once. And Kirby is the only one left. And you start out the adventure mode with Kirby. You go around this little map area. You unlock all the new characters. And by the way, this includes, you can see from the cover here, this includes every single stage and every single character from every Smash Brothers game. So, you know what that means? Absolutely perfect. You know, I don't like to spoil anything, and, you know, whatever. I know my detailed descriptions are not fantastic, but if you want more detail on this game, watch JKB's review of this. He has a fantastic channel. He deserves so much more recognition than he gets. His reviews are great. But pick this up. I'm going to talk about this more on the Xbox One because I have the collectible Steelbook edition. But the 2016 Doom on the Switch. You see my Doom poster right there. Let's say, to put it lightly, I fucking love this game. Absolute. And let's be honest, you know, your preferred way to play it's going to be on PC, Xbox, or PS4. But I gotta admit, this game is solid on the Switch. It doesn't have the best frame rate, but it works. It's still the full version, and it's on the go if you want. What's better than that? Taking Doom on the go anywhere, at any time? What's better? You know, holy shit. Like, this is all you want. Like I said, I'll talk more about the game later when I talk about the Xbox One shit, but definitely pick this up. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Some people will probably say this is the best Mario Kart ever made, and I would basically agree. You know, I will go ahead and say that I think Super Mario Kart, or I apologize, that's the original. Mario Kart 64 is my favorite Mario Kart of all time. Honestly, it's my favorite racing game of all time. But this one, well, you know, it's my second favorite. For me, nothing can beat the one on the 64. But this one's great. It's got tons of characters, tons of stages. Since this is the deluxe version, it comes with all the DLC that originally came out on the Wii U version. So this is the one to pick up. Once again, you can take it on the go with you. Absolutely fantastic. You can play online and kick the shit out of people. Even though I'm usually the one that gets my ass kicked in racing games, but it's fun. Alright. Super Mario Odyssey. Holy shit. This has got to be probably my favorite Mario game of all time. I know, right? Just, you know, it's crazy to say, but holy shit. It's just Super Mario 64 on steroids. That's all it is. Roid Rage all the way. It's, you know, the level design is fantastic. All the new moves that Mario has, the boss fights, the story. You know, I won't spoil it, but the things you get to do at the end of the game is just an absolutely fantastic experience through and through. So much fun. Mario has this new ship that he can use to travel between can't fucking talk today, between different lands. There are different costumes you can get for him, and you can mix and match them. You can put dumbass hats on him and shit. There's a lot of cool Easter eggs in this. Yeah. Probably my favorite Mario game of all time. Fantastic. I would really like to play through this again soon, when I have the time. You know, I feel like you really get stuck between finding out about new games coming out, finding out about old games you never played before, and wanting to go back and replay games you've already played. And just the mix of all that, your backlog just skyrockets. It's crazy. And this game right here, holy shit. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. This is the Steelbook version here, the Steelbook case. This game is absolutely incredible. You know, like I said, I won't go into the story and spoil it, but you're a kid named Rex, and you're just thrust into this new world, and each land is basically on the back of these giant ass monsters. I want to say they're called Titans. I could be wrong. It's been a little while since I played it. But holy shit, this game. By far my favorite Xenoblade game to date. I haven't played the DLC for it yet, so I would like to do that at some point. Yeah, this game, another one to pick up on the Switch, day one. And the last one on the Switch, Puyo Puyo Tetris. This game's a little interesting. I haven't played Puyo Puyo before, so learning how to play was cool. Obviously, Tetris has always been fantastic, so it's cool to have an iteration on the Switch. It actually has a story mode that isn't complete ass, so that's fun. You know, that's pretty interesting. You know, there's not a whole lot to say about it. It's just a puzzle game, but it's very fun, and I do highly recommend it. Okay, now let's talk about the N64. This game right here was a launch title, possibly the best game ever on the system. You know, fantastic. Super Mario 64. Oh my god, this game. You know, thinking back to when I was a kid, this was like the best game ever. Even now, it's still fantastic. Like I said, you know, Odyssey is just this game on steroids. You know, you pull up to Peach's castle, she's disappeared, shit's gone just completely wrong, and you have to go through all the worlds, getting all the stars, kicking everyone's ass, and then you get to beat Bowser's ass at the end. Which is, you know, 90% of Mario games, but you know what? The level design, the sound, the graphics, the gameplay, the controls. This game right here at the time was groundbreaking, and to this day still remains one of the best games of all time. I cannot recommend this game enough. I could talk about it for hours. This is fantastic. I'll shut the hell up now and move on to the next one. Play this game. Okay. I have the third game in this pile somewhere. You know, whatever. Mario Party 2 and 3. And I guess the original, but I don't have it. On the N64. Absolutely fantastic. I can't really pick a favorite, because there's some boards I prefer on one over the other. There's some mini games I prefer over one or the other, but they're both solid. You know, they're both fun to play by yourself or with friends. You know, whatever. A great party game. Hence the name. But yeah, you know, it's great to have friends over and play this shit with you. You know, this was great. This was before online play, and this is all you needed. You came home from school one day with your friends, you pop this motherfucker in, and you play it all night, and it was just fantastic. Alright, Diddy Kong Racing. The second best kart racing game on the N64. Sorry guys. But yeah, this game is solid though, a lot of fun. The cool thing about it is, you know, with the different characters comes different vehicles you can use, and that's a really cool idea. You know, Mario Kart didn't really start using different vehicles until later, and even now they haven't really done shit that this game has done. You know, you had planes, hovercrafts, regular karts, you had all kinds of shit, and the adventure mode was really cool, just kind of going around through all the different worlds, kind of like Crash Team Racing. You know, yeah, it's a solid game, very fun. Buy it. Another racing game on the N64 that's fantastic. You know, there were a ton of great games on it. Cruising the World, and that's my cousin's name right there. So, JC, if you see this, I have this game. You know, if you want, I'll give it back to you. But hey, I miss you, brother. Hope you're doing well. I used to play this game with him all the time, and it's a lot of fun. You know, it's funny because it kind of uses real life cars, but it, you know, obviously due to licensing fees, you can't use the real names for the cars because you would have to pay out the ass. But you can tell what these cars are in game, and yeah, the title says it all. You race tracks around like Egypt, I want to say Kenya's on there, Russia, Hawaii, China. It's just really fun. And it's just cruising the USA on steroids once again. But yeah, this game's solid, fun, great, 2-player game. The N64 really did multiplayer well, especially with having the 4 controller ports on there. Fantastic. In this game, I put probably way too much time into, and you could probably already tell what it is by the cartridge. This game is so much fun. Donkey Kong 64. And by the way, someday I want to get the Jungle Green limited edition console in my collection. It's fucking beautiful. But this game, kind of like Super Mario 64, you start out on Donkey Kong's island, and that asshole King K. Rool comes over, wrecking your shit, your fun day in the treehouse. And you have to get all the golden bananas. You go across different worlds, collecting new characters to play as, and then at the end you get to kick K. Rool's ass. Standard Donkey Kong. It's like, a lot of people love the Donkey Kong Country games, and trust me, I do. But this game, I think I prefer this one over those. I don't know, it's just, the music's great, the gameplay is great, level design. If you love Donkey Kong, must play right here. And, the other game had my cousin's name on it, but this game has my name on it, so you know it's mine. Mario Golf. This game, holy shit. Possibly my favorite golf game of all time. But I gotta admit one thing. There's one mode where you can play against the different characters, as a computer player. And if you beat them, you unlock them to play as, right? I have been stuck on trying to unlock Mario for literally years. And I hate admitting that because it's embarrassing, but he is a tough sumbitch. I cannot get past him. But yeah, solid game. The courses are all fun. The music, holy shit. Possibly my favorite music on the console out of any game. If there is a soundtrack on CD, I would like to get it someday. Very good game. Magical Tetris Challenge. This is a Tetris game, but it has Disney characters in it. And you get to play against different characters and beat them, and it's got a story mode. Very fun. And a lot of people are going to hate me for this, and I apologize. I just don't have the money to get a new cartridge yet. And I promise you that I bought it this way. Now, I did not do this. I take care of my shit. GoldenEye 007. The best first-person shooter game on the N64. Hands down. This revolutionized the genre in so many ways. Looking back now, it is a little awkward with the controls, with the C buttons instead of a second analog stick. But it's still fantastic. The story's great. The multiplayer. I'm telling you right now, buy this game today. Get 4 or 3 of your friends, all get together, do 4-player multiplayer, and just beat the shit out of each other. And you will have unlimited hours of entertainment with this game. Like I said, I'm sorry about the cartridge. The back's fucked up too, admittedly. But yeah, buy this game. There's a Mario Party 3 to show that I have it. Whatever. Buy that game. Doom 64. First off, people shit all over Nintendo for having, you have all these dumbass kiddie games, whatever. But this was a mature rated, full-scale Doom game exclusive to the N64. What could beat this? Oh my god, this game, absolutely fantastic. It has, its own levels, its own some weapons. I think some exclusive enemies. Just this game is solid all around. It's just incredible. An exclusive Doom game for the N64. Don't talk shit about this game. Buy it, play it, enjoy it, have fun. Oh boy. One of the best games ever made. Sorry for the glare. Pokemon Stadium. I wish I had the second game. I never really got to play it. I remember I went to the video store one time and tried to rent it. The box was on the shelf. I go up there and the guy says, "Oh, sorry, we actually don't have it right now." And that just broke my heart at the time, and I've still never played it to this day. But the first one here, Jesus. You know, I have a ton of memories with this game. I had it for years and years and years. I beat Giovanni at the end. Spoiler alert to, you know, whatever Pokemon games. You should know this by now, but you get to, you know, just get different Pokemon, fight each other, fight other trainers, get gym badges. Just an absolutely fantastic game. There is multiplayer. If you get a friend on here with you, you can battle each other. And I could be wrong, but if I remember right, you could somehow import some of your Pokemon from the Game Boy Color games onto here and fight with them. You know, transfer them. Absolutely badass. And I do want to mention I don't have Pokemon Snap. I'm going to get it eventually. But just the things you could do on the N64, like Pokemon Snap, you could go and take the pictures in the game that you took, take it to Blockbuster, and get those pictures actually printed out at the time. Holy shit. You know, it was just ahead of its time. And I do think they are making a new one on the Switch finally. Cannot wait for that. Alright. This game is an interesting one. And probably every one of you watching this video has played it. The original Super Smash Brothers. This game right here honestly started out, you know, it didn't start out with all the Nintendo characters, which is crazy to think about now. But you know, it's a fighting game, and when they were developing it, they included the Nintendo characters to kind of, you know, make it appeal more to gamers around the world. And at first, if you want to believe this was going to be a Japanese exclusive game. Can you imagine in the US if we never got this fucking game? Unbelievable. You know, we can't even fathom that when we think about it. And just proves the point, Japan. Quit making games exclusive. Put them everywhere and you will sell millions of copies. Trust me. And the last one I want to talk about on N64, Star Fox 64. I remember this game came bundled with the Rumble Pack at the time, and holy shit, Rumble in a controller? Unbelievable at the time. It was such a new thing, and it was crazy, and a lot of fun. This game is just, once again, the original game on steroids. You know, you're flying around, just blowing up a bunch of shit. The boss battles are a ton of fun, and I don't have it, but they did remake this game on the 3DS. So if you don't have an N64, get it on the 3DS. It's great. You know, the graphics are updated and it's in 3D. Tons of fun. Buy this game, play it, enjoy it. Just love it to death. Now, I do think I'm going to go ahead and, you know, take a break right now and kind of break this up into 2 segments. So I will be back. And next, we're going to talk about the NES. Alright, the last game I want to talk about on the N64 is the classic Mario Kart 64. There we go. This game right here is my all-time favorite racing game ever made. Ever. I do have a lot of nostalgic memories playing this game with my dad every night. And overall, it's just a fantastic experience. All the tracks are fantastic. You know, the music is great, just like with Mario Golf. If there is a soundtrack CD for this, I would very much like to buy it. And one thing I want to start adding to the collection is I would like to start getting Japanese versions of games that I really love. And one day I really want to get the Japanese copy of this. So we'll see. Yeah, the track design, music, You know, everything about this game is just perfect. I have so much nostalgia and good memories with this game, and I can't recommend it enough. Alright. Let's move on to the classic 1985 NES. Alright, the first game we're going to talk about is Dr. Mario. This game, it's a puzzle game, a lot like Tetris, except you're rolling around with a bunch of pills. And you can see on the cover there, all the pills. And you try to kind of match up all the colors and they disappear. And kind of like Tetris, you just don't want the pills to reach the top of the screen. You know, it's good multiplayer, or you could compete against the computer. It's just a solid, fun puzzle game all around. The next game I have not played yet, but this is Bart versus the Space Mutants. Now, if you watch gaming channels on YouTube, you probably know what made me want to buy this game, and that's the Angry Video Game Nerd on Cinemassacre. I have been watching him since 2008, and to this day, in my opinion, he is still the best YouTube channel of all time. And the video he made for this is fucking hilarious. So like I said, I haven't played it yet. I bought this when I was back at PAX East in February. Remember when you could go outside? Yeah, it looks shitty, but you know, I'm sure there's still some fun to it. You know, we'll see. This game right here is very badass. DuckTales on the NES. You'll also see later I have the DuckTales Remastered on PS3. Yeah, this game's cool. It's got some fun levels, especially the moon level. That one's probably my favorite. The music, again, some of the best music on the NES. The level design's fantastic. The inclusion of characters is great. Yeah, highly recommend it. This one right here, Paperboy. Very classic game. This is one of the earliest games I remember playing. I didn't get an NES myself until, God, I was probably in like 9th grade. But with this, you know, I remember my grandparents had an NES, I think. And it's my parents or grandparents, I don't remember, but they had this game, and I used to play the shit out of it. And I will tell you once again, watch the Angry Video Game Nerds video about it. This game is brutally difficult, it seems like, for some people. Because like the gameplay, it's hard to explain, but it's kind of like at a weird angle, it's not just straight, you know? So when you're trying to throw the newspapers, they just don't go where you want to go. And there's all these different obstacles in the way. It's just a frantic game. Crazy. It's fun, but it's, you know, not the best game I've ever played, but it's cool. Another recommendation I got from watching Angry Video Game Nerd, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, in his video for this, obviously he gets very angry. But at the end of the day, it's not a horrible game, honestly. It has its flaws, you know. Some things that look like jumps, you can just walk over it, you know. And things like that. But, you know, some missions are difficult. Some of the pizzas are really hard to get to. But hey, it's a game. It's not perfect, but it's fun. Definitely worth playing. Check it out. Oh boy, I left the sticker on here. And honestly, this cartridge is not in the best shape. But this game right here, The Legend of Zelda. I don't care what anybody says. This is the first and the best adventure game. You know, sure there was some shit on Atari before this and all that, but no, shut the hell up. This is the adventure game. This game is just ridiculous. It's crazy. You know, all the hidden secrets. It's very cryptic at first, but it's a solid game. It's fun. I like the story. You know, it's fun to kill the enemies. It's fun to explore the dungeons and find all the secrets. Just a perfect game. Must play on the NES. Definitely. This game is also very badass. It's a side-scrolling action game. what the NES did best. Batman. Now, you see this developed by Sunsoft and you're like, oh shit, this game's gonna be terrible. But no, this game is really fun. It's, it's not really based on the movie with Michael Keaton, but, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's cool when they kind of make something different anyway, But, yeah, this game's a lot of fun. There's a lot of, gadgets that you can use to fight enemies and get around. But the most fun mechanic in this shit, wall jumping. If you don't have this game, buy it or just look up some gameplay of it. But the wall jumping in this game, just so much fun. It's just fantastic. It's great control, great music, great gameplay, great level design. And the last, final boss fight with Joker, tough as hell. But if you beat it, it's a satisfying experience, definitely worth playing. Very classic game. Don't really need to say much about it, but hey, it's worth mentioning. Tetris. Probably my favorite puzzle game of all time, and this is probably the best version of it. It's just solid. You can't hold extra pieces, which is kind of a crutch, I feel like. And now that I think of it, one game that I didn't mention on N64, it's called the New Tetris. And honestly, now that I think about it, the New Tetris is probably my favorite. This is my second favorite. I remember I went to Walmart with my dad in my hometown, and we bought the New Tetris for my mom. I don't remember if it was like a birthday present or Mother's Day or just whatever. I remember we bought it for her, and I used to play it with her a lot, and I have a ton of good memories with that. And luckily I still have that same cartridge over there. And yeah, just a really fun game. Tetris is cool. It's simple for beginners and, hard for experts. It's just whatever, however you want to play it. And the music is good, but what I like to do with Tetris, since it's such a simple game, kind of turn the volume down and just put on some Slayer or Metallica or whatever music you want and just rock on and play this game for hours. So much fun. Alright, we're going to kind of group these together here, but whatever. The NES Mario Brothers trilogy. It's kind of hard to see all of them. There's the first one, second one, and the fantastic, perfect, incredible, must-play Super Mario Brothers 3. Holy shit, this game, just the best game, probably my third favorite Mario game of all time. I would say it's Mario Odyssey, Mario 64, and then Mario 3. Just a perfect game. I know I'm rambling on about the same shit, but it's still all great. The music's fantastic. Level design, the characters, fighting all the Koopa kids is really fun and challenging. It's a tough game at times, but it's not, you can beat it. It's not impossible. It's just a solid, fun game, and you get a really good afternoon out of it. That's it for the NES games. Let's move on to Super Nintendo. Now, the first game I haven't really played, to be quite honest. I just kind of bought it at the store because it's kind of fucking hilarious here. Wait till you see this shit. Jeopardy! Sports Edition. Now, whatever. Jeopardy's cool. It's a fun game to play with your family. But here's the thing. Hopefully you can see the sticker there. And then there's also one on the front. That kind of looks backwards. I don't know if it'll look like that in the video, but whatever. Please rewind tape. This is a Super Nintendo video game cartridge. I don't know about you, but not only have I never had to rewind one, there's just no way to do it. So, whatever dumbass at the video store that put this sticker on here, I hope they got fired. Like, whoa, what was the reason behind this? Fucking idiot. Don't try to rewind your shit. It doesn't work. Alright. Cartridge is a little dirty, honestly, but fuck it. Star Fox, the original. This game is cool, especially for the time. You know, it really took 3D environments to the max on a console that really wasn't made for 3D. And that's what was so great at the time, you know? You're flying around and doing all the boss fights and shit, but it was in 3D. And this is not a 3D console, you know, as far as like open world, like, you know what I mean? This game was ahead of its time. It's a fantastic game, tons of fun. Star Fox 64 is my favorite in the series, but this was a damn good start to it. Super Street Fighter 2. This was the first Street Fighter that I ever played, and probably my favorite. It's, you know, it's solid, it's fun, it's fucking Street Fighter. What else do you want? Alright, Donkey Kong Country 2. I know I talked about Donkey Kong 64 earlier being my favorite, and it's true, but these games are very fun. You know, this had some of the, possibly the best graphics at the time of any game. You know, these games were just phenomenal, and the music was beautiful, just the gameplay is solid. This is another soundtrack I would want to have on CD, if it's available. I gotta look into that, but just a fantastic game. The whole trilogy and all the later games, just play the shit out of them. This is another game that I bought back at PAX. You know, I watched the Angry Video Game Nerd video on it, and I really want to play it. Super Star Wars, the first one. I don't know if you can really see that there, but yeah, Super Star Wars. It's a really fun, solid game. I haven't played it, but I've seen a lot of footage of it. It's kind of like a, you know, side-scroller game. There's a lot of really cool boss fights, even though they have a shit ton of health for some reason. You know, there's some kind of pseudo 3D sections, you know, with the ship, you know, and the fucking land speeder shooting shit. Whatever. It's a fun game, from what I hear, and I can't wait to play it. Last game on Super Nintendo I want to talk about. I also bought this at PAX, actually. Super Mario Kart. This is the first Mario Kart game, and a lot of people consider it to be their favorite. Personally, mine is Mario Kart 64, but this was a groundbreaking game for the time, and it's still fun to play today. The battle mode, fantastic. The regular racing is great. You know, it's got some really cool characters. I fucking love the artwork on here. I want a poster of that shit. Very fun game. Definitely play it. Let's talk about some OG Xbox games, shall we? Let's start out with probably my favorite one on the Xbox that I've played. Silent Hill 2. There we go. And this is the Restless Dreams version. It's basically like a director's cut. It's got you know, extra kind of story section with an extra playable character, you know, extra secrets, you know, better graphics, I think, compared to the PS2 version. This game is fucking crazy. It's scary as shit. You know, definitely play it in a dark room at night with the volume up. It's hard to really talk about without spoiling it, but basically, you play as James Sunderland. And your wife died a couple years ago from some illness, probably like cancer or something. They never really say, but that's what I feel like it was. And you get a letter from your wife saying that she's in Silent Hill, somehow still alive, and she's waiting for you there. So, you know, you go search for her, and you get to Silent Hill. Shit just starts going insane. Monsters start showing up, and it's just fucking terrifying. And it's my favorite Silent Hill in my opinion, even though I haven't played Downpour yet. I need to do that. And please, for the love of God, make a new Silent Hill. Silent Hills was coming, and you canceled it, and it's just a fucking disappointment. So make a new one, and please don't let it be shit. But for now, this is by far the best one. This next game is really cool. I haven't beat it yet, but I played it a decent amount. Panzer Dragoon Orta. This one is like a rail shooter where you're riding on these big ass dragons and just shooting shit. You know, it's Sega at their finest. You know, they went out solidly with the Dreamcast at the end, but when they decided to go third party and give full support to the Xbox, holy shit. They produced so many classics for this console, it's unreal. And this is definitely one not to skip. Play this shit. Alright, this one's gonna probably be kind of funny to some people. But growing up, one of the games I really looked forward to every year, even more than Madden, was the NASCAR Thunder games. And this is my favorite one. 2004, even though bullshit, you know, Tony Stewart's on the cover. But yeah, the graphics are fantastic. If you played the newer NASCAR Heat games on the current gen consoles, you know how shit those are. But to me, this game is better, honestly. And it came out in 2003. Graphics are great, sound is great, control was fantastic. There's some cool like mini games and shit to unlock. It's just fun all around. You couldn't play online, I don't think. You know, I had this on PS2 originally, so I never got to play online. But yeah, the best NASCAR game in my opinion. And this game is really funny. I didn't get the Xbox admittedly until, I want to say 2015, because I grew up with a PS2. And this is one of the games I had on PS2 at the time, as a kid, mind you. And looking back now, it's just a really funny game, just a good time. BMX Triple X. How do I even describe this game? You can see the, it's a little hard to see, there's the woman on the back there. This is a very mature rated game, not suitable for kids. But yeah, it's just, you know, kind of like the Tony Hawk games, except it's BMX. You just roll around on a bike, just doing crazy challenges and shit, just riding around doing tricks. Very vulgar. You know, a lot of hot women in there, which is, you know, that's fun. It's just fucking hilarious, honestly. If you're ever feeling down or you just need a lazy day to play a fucking game, play this. You will enjoy it the entire day. It's just fucking hilarious. The soundtrack is great. And when you find out, you'll know what I mean when I say this. The unlockables are interesting, but worth it. Play this game. Alright, let's move on to the 360. This game I picked up recently because I heard it's fantastic, but I have not played it yet. I actually have not played any of the games in this series, but I would like to. I have a couple on PS4. Tales of Vesperia. This game, like I said, I haven't played it yet, but I've heard it's one of the best RPGs on the 360. And it wasn't exclusive. I think, if I remember right, this is the one, they basically got a PS3 director's cut in Japan, and we didn't get that one, which sucks, but we got this one, and I hear it's very fantastic, and hopefully one day I'll get to play it. I love RPGs. And I've heard that the Tales games are some of the best. God, I can't fucking speak today. This game, now, this game kind of came out around the same time as Halo Wars, and if you like Halo Wars, that's fine, but it's just not really my type of game. And I remember I chose to get Halo Wars instead of this, and I regret it to this day. Eventually I got this later, and this is still my original copy, but whatever. Guitar Hero Metallica. A Guitar Hero game from my favorite band in the entire world. When this came out and I finally got it, just fucking blew my mind. On stage, you actually, you know, the members of Metallica actually did their own motion capture for this, so it's really them on screen. And just having the instruments and everything, getting to play their music, is just so much fun. You know, this is one of the games that made me want to become a drummer at the time. This and Rock Band 2. So just solid game. If you love metal and Guitar Hero, pick this up. And I know they came out with Guitar Hero Live, but they've already kind of ended the online support. I guess not enough people bought it, but make a new entry. and bring the drums back. Rock Band 4 on the new consoles is absolutely incredible, but I do miss Guitar Hero, so bring that shit back. But, you know, it's Activision, you know, shit division, and they probably fuck it up, so maybe we don't need a new one, who knows? I don't even know anymore. Now, I want to say this is the second game that I ever played on 360. I could be wrong, but it was pretty soon after I got it. The Simpsons game. Now, admittedly, I like The Simpsons, I just haven't watched much of it. You know, don't fucking crucify me yet. It's funny and I like it, I just haven't taken the time to watch it. But yeah, this game is solid, it's a lot of fun. It came out around the same time as the movie, you know, it has the similar artwork and everything. But it's not really the story in the movie, which is interesting. They made a completely different game, and it's fun as hell. You know, all the characters have special abilities and stuff throughout the levels, and it's just really cool. I highly recommend it. And if I remember right, the final boss fight, you get to fight God, which is fun. You know, you get to kick his ass a little bit. But yeah, it's a fun game. Check it out. And I just mentioned this game earlier. Rock Band 2. By far my favorite Rock Band game. The memories and good times that I had with this game, I can't even begin to tell you about. It's just so many hours poured into this game, and so many good memories came from it. I remember I used to play this game pretty much every day with my mom and my uncle, and we just had a fantastic time every day. You know, I would come home from school, everyone would come home from work, and we would just hang out together and play this game. And it was one of the best feelings in the world, and one of the best memories I've ever had. And it's just a really solid game, you know, and if you have a 360 or PS3, pick this shit up. The soundtrack's great, and honestly, this is the first game I got, and the first thing that made me really want to start playing drums. So if you checked out my drum stuff, I appreciate it, and this is where it all started right here. God, that had to have been what, like 10 years ago now? Holy shit, I'm getting old. Alright, I remember saving up the money and getting this game the day it came out. This was another game I used to play with my uncle, he was really cool. Modern Warfare 3. And I can hear it already, people shitting all over this game. And admittedly, it's nowhere near the best game in the franchise, but I enjoyed the story and the multiplayer. You know, it's just, people get too serious about this shit. It's just a game, it's fun, you know, move on. Go take a shit somewhere else. Now this game is really fun, and admittedly it is a God of War clone. Some of you probably already know what game I'm talking about, but it's very fun, and it's definitely worth playing. Dante's Inferno. Now, the Divine Comedy is one of my favorite stories of all time. I remember reading it in a literature class in high school, and then I found out about this game soon after. I was like, holy shit. So I got the game, and this is before I played God of War actually, so this wasn't like a copy to me. And holy shit, this game is so much fun. You know, I like horror movies and shit, so I like all the creepy imagery and the dark story. The last boss fight's fantastic. Just a really great game. You should definitely play it. Alright, let's move on to Xbox One games. We're going down the whole Xbox train. Alright. Both of these games are fantastic. Wolfenstein: The New Order and Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Holy shit. These games right here. These were the first Wolfenstein games that I played, admittedly. And, you know, they're just really fun at the time. Also have the Old Blood. You know, you'll see it in the video, but I just didn't really feel like including it right now. Wolfenstein 2 is really cool. You know, I like this alternate history type shit. And this game takes place in America. And there's some parts that take place in DC, and you get to see, and it's just crazy shit when you look at it, but it's just a really solid game. Now, I'm sure some people would get upset about it, but once again, it's just a fucking game. Calm the hell down and enjoy it, or don't enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, just ignore it and move on with your boring life. Yeah, these games are great. Definitely check them out. This game, I remember, God, I want to say it came out in like March of 2014, if I remember right. Titanfall, the first one. It is an Xbox One exclusive. And admittedly, I was a little worried about it not having a campaign, you know. But once I really started playing it and getting into it, fucking solid game. Admittedly, it's just, you know, it's cool. You get to run around kind of like Call of Duty, shooting each other and shit. And then all of a sudden, you get these giant mechs that you can run around in and blow shit up. And the multiplayer is great. It's just a lot of fun. And Titanfall 2 on PS4. I have it on PS4. It's on Xbox as well. Titanfall 2 finally included a campaign, and it's fucking perfect. I really hope that they come out with a Titanfall 3 soon. I mentioned this earlier, Rock Band 4. Really solid game, great soundtrack. You know, you see the drums over here earlier in the video. Just a lot of fun. Alright, this game right here, Lego Batman 3. Honestly, it's been a while since I've played it, so I don't really remember the story, but it's a Lego Batman game. All three of them are fantastic. Honestly, every Lego game in general I think is great. You know, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, you know, the DC games, the Marvel games, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park. They're just all fantastic. So, it's your typical Lego game. You know, fun control, tons of playable characters, great story. You know, just pick it up and play it. Definitely worth it. Alright, these two games. Halo the Master Chief Collection and Halo 5. I'm sure you saw my live stream of Halo 5 recently, hopefully. If you watched that, big thumbs up. Yeah, the Master Chief Collection. It's games 1 through 4 and Halo 3 ODST. Admittedly, if you remember getting this when it came out, there were a lot of bugs and things with the multiplayer. But I think they fixed it now. It's solid. You know, whatever, they fixed it now. Big deal. Halo 5. It's your typical Halo. Beautiful graphics, beautiful music, beautiful level design, great missions. The only thing that's kind of hit or miss for me is the story for the first time in a Halo game. It just the whole story arc with Cortana just didn't really hit me right. So hopefully with Infinite they fix that. You know, they don't fucking ruin it. But we'll see. And here's my thing, I'll go ahead and say this now about Halo Infinite. You know, we saw the gameplay reveal, and it honestly doesn't look too great as far as the graphics go. And I think this is why. You know, honestly, I feel like they shouldn't make it playable on the Xbox One. Because I feel like when you're doing that, you're limiting the capability of the game. The new Xbox console is going to be very powerful, and you can make a very beautiful 4K Halo game with that. And I think them putting it on the Xbox One is really holding it back, and I think that's part of the problem. So honestly, I think they should just cancel the Xbox One version and just really focus on the new console and just make it the best game possible. That's my 2 cents. They're probably not going to do that. Who knows, maybe they will do something right. We'll find out. This game is absolutely incredible. Forza Horizon 4. I would say this is probably my 3rd favorite racing game of all time. You already know my favorite, and I'll mention the 2nd favorite later in this video. But all these Forza Horizon games are great. You know, it's an open world racing game. Tons of cars to choose from. Beautiful graphics, good soundtracks. You know, you can play online with friends or race on your own. Tons of great races. It's just a shit ton of fun. You know, just a lot of customization options, and it's just great. Check it out. Here's one that I haven't played yet. Gears of War 5, or just Gears 5 by, you know, the box. I did play Gears of War 4 and I liked it a lot. I let someone borrow it right now, that's why I don't have it. But I haven't played this yet, and I'm ready to play it soon. You know, hopefully the story's good. We'll see how it goes. The ending of the 4th game was very interesting to me, so I'm curious to see where they take this. You know, but I'll play it eventually. And this game I'm about to talk about is very, you know, have very mixed feelings about it. Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. If I remember right, it was a PSP exclusive, and they brought it over and, you know, remastered it for the new consoles. It looks okay, you know, it looks good. You know, it seems like it's the best they could do without actually remaking it, you know what I mean? But, yeah, you know, it looks good. And honestly, I really liked it so far. I liked the darker tone in the story. But for me, I got to chapter 3, and for some reason, I started playing, and the frame rate just dropped dramatically. It got to where it was honestly unplayable. It had to have been like 20 frames a second, or maybe even lower. And I tried to look online to see if anyone else had this problem, and I couldn't find anything. And I don't know if it's just something wrong with the disc or my Xbox. It doesn't seem like it. You know, this is the only game I've ever had a problem with the frame rate. So it really just seems like a bug or something in the game. But it just really made it to where it's unplayable for me, and I had to stop. And it's really sad. Because honestly, even though I didn't get to put too much time into it, it was really fun so far. So I don't know, very disappointing. Maybe I need to try to get the PS4 version and see if the same bug is in it. But like I said, I tried to look it up online and no one was talking about it, so who knows? It's just disappointing, honestly. This game is cool. Dragon Age Inquisition. Basically Dragon Age 3. Honestly, I never did complete the game because the story is pretty long. But the story is fantastic. You know, the gameplay is great. The different weapons and stuff you can have is fun. The multiplayer really surprised me. There's kind of this mode where you can run around with other people online and just run through this, you know, labyrinth or dungeon or whatever you want to call it, and just kill a shit ton of enemies, and then there's a boss fight at the end. And it's just really a lot of fun. It's solid. And, you know, hopefully I want to play this again and actually finish the story, because I love this game. Highly recommend it. Alright, I've been waiting to talk about this one. Doom and Doom Eternal. Holy shit. Literally. Now, I mentioned Doom on the Switch earlier, but with this, first off, look at this fucking case. This is the Steelbook case version on Xbox One that came with the Collector's Edition. It also came with that statue that's up on my shelf. Just fucking badass case and a badass game. Good return to the series. But fucking Doom Eternal. Oh my god. This game just takes the 2016 Doom and just fucking goes apeshit with it. The gameplay is fast, frantic, and fantastic. The 3 Fs. The guns are great. You know, the enemies are really cool. The story is fantastic. The metal soundtrack is fucking phenomenal. And it's just a real roller coaster the whole way through the game. And honestly, I might sound crazy here, but I'm going to say this is my favorite first-person shooter of all time. I know some people might call me crazy. You know, it's good, but oh, it ain't that good. No, this is my favorite first-person shooter of all time. This game, absolutely perfect. And I saw that they just announced like a story DLC for it. I will definitely pick it up day one and play it. I just want more of this game, and I hope they make a third game. I just fucking hyped. Play this fucking game. I cannot recommend it enough. I could talk about it forever. Play it. trust me, it's just fucking worth it. It really goes into the lore and the backstory of the Doomslayer, and that's one of the things I really like. They've never really done that before, and they do that with Eternal. And it's just really all around just a perfect game in my opinion. Definitely try it out. This one right here might possibly be my favorite Call of Duty game, and once again, it might be kind of a weird opinion to some people. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And I know I can hear it already. Oh, you know, it's got the running on walls and double jumping and shit. And I know, but just for me, the campaign is really good, even though, you know, Kevin Spacey's in it. But for me, this game, it was the multiplayer. Just holy shit. The multiplayer is fast paced, it's fun, you know, all the maps are great, the guns are great. And I'm glad that the servers are still up for this, because even though this came out a couple years ago, I still play the multiplayer, you know, sometimes. Just a solid game, possibly my favorite Call of Duty, just a lot of fun. And now, since it's so old, you could still pick it up right now for probably like 10-15 bucks, so definitely try it. One complaint I have with Call of Duty, especially online, why the hell are all of the season passes still full price? Even if you look on Xbox One with Black Ops 2 with backwards compatibility, the season pass and all the maps is still full price like it was in 2012. Are you fucking serious? Lower your season pass prices. It's unbelievable. I should not be paying 60 bucks for maps that came out, you know, 8 years ago or 6 years ago. Fucking ridiculous. And these games are very fantastic. I played these first three on the, or first two I should say, on the 360. Batman Return to Arkham and Batman Arkham Knight, this is the fourth game in the series. I haven't played this remastered collection yet. I really need to, because I love these games. But the original, you know, Arkham Asylum, fantastic. Arkham City is the best in the series. They just took, you know, what the first game did and just fucking ran with it. And honestly, Mark Hamill, in my opinion, is the best all-time voice actor for the Joker. So to have him in these games is just perfect. Arkham Knight was really cool. I won't spoil it, but there is a good, you know, twist in the story that was badass. And it's cool that they made the Arkham Knight. You know, it was a new DC character just for this game. And that's badass that they did that. So yeah, play these games. A lot of fun. Alright, let's go on to PS4. This first game, it's one of the first 4 or 5 games I played on PS4. It's an exclusive, Until Dawn. This game is really fun. It's kind of hard to explain. It's one of those games that's kind of more like a movie than a game. Kind of like Detroit Become Human, if you've ever played that. But yeah, this game, you know, it's really movie quality. It's got a good story. You know, a couple different endings. Once again, I won't spoil the game, but you know, the story can go in a couple different directions and multiple endings, and it's just creepy in a lot of ways and a lot of fun. Some good jump scares in there. Just really solid game. Alright, admittedly, even though this is a newer game on PS4, it's the first one I played in the series, Yakuza 0. This game is a really cool beat 'em up. You know, the graphics are great, the controls are great, just beating the shit out of people is so much fun. It's got a really interesting story, and obviously since it says 0, it's a prequel to the original on PS2. I haven't played it, but there is a remake of it on PS4, so I definitely want to play that. Yeah, I won't go into the story, but a really solid beat 'em up game with a good story. Definitely check it out. Alright, this game right here. This is probably my favorite horror game of all time, I would think. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. This game is creepy as hell. Basically, you're this guy, forget his name. Does it say on here? Doesn't say. I think his name is Evan. Could be wrong about that. But, basically, your wife has been missing for several years, kind of like, you know, whatever. What am I thinking of? Silent Hill 2. But instead of being dead, she's just been missing. And you get an email from her and like a video saying that, you know, she's still alive and she's at this place in Louisiana and you gotta go look for her. And one thing that's really badass, this is the first good Resident Evil game in first person. You might be thinking, wow, you know, there was one in first person before that? Holy shit. It's called Resident Evil Survivor on PS1 and it's horrible. Never play that. So that's why I say this is the first good first person one. You know, it's very creepy. The fact that it's in first person allows it to have, you know, really good jump scares and shit. Just honestly really scary. And I made a video on the channel of me playing it. I would like to play more of it on YouTube for you at some point. Yeah, it's a really creepy game. You can see in the video how scared I get. It's fucking hilarious. But yeah, check it out. This game right here. I bought this the day I bought my PS4. And it's so much fun. Ratchet and Clank. It's kind of basically a remake of the original in a way. You know, pretty much the same story. So, you know, not much to say there. But I did see that they announced a new game on the PS5, and I cannot wait for that. But yeah, if you love Ratchet and Clank, this is probably my favorite one, so definitely try it out. I've made a couple videos on the channel playing it, so if you want to check out some gameplay, there you go. Alright, big game here. This right here is my second favorite game of all time. All time. Persona 5. And this is the Royal version with all the extra characters and story and shit. I have started replaying, you know, this version. But after it came out, you know, I played the original version. But so I haven't really gotten into any of the extra content yet. But yeah, you know, a lot to say about this game. The story is great. Atlas at its best. You know, I talked about Persona 4 earlier, but this one takes the cake for me. Just a really cool story. Basically, you're this kid, and you're walking down the street one day, and you see this woman getting attacked by this guy, and you interfere, and you punch the guy, and he calls the cops on you. So basically, you get sent away, and I believe it's in Tokyo. I could be wrong. It's kind of sad that I forgot that, honestly. But I think you get sent to Tokyo, and, you know, you move in with this guy that owns a coffee shop, and he's honestly pretty cool. And yeah, just, you start going to your new school, and you make some friends, and all this crazy shit starts happening that I won't spoil. But, my God, I cannot recommend this enough. Buy this game. This game is worth, you know, it's a PS4 exclusive. It's worth buying a PS4 just to play this. I promise you. Play the shit out of this game. I remember my initial playthrough, I put 124 hours into this game. And I could have put in much more. It was just so much fun. And I'm glad I'm finally playing through it again. And I can't wait to see the extra shit they've added to this. So, definitely pick this up. Up next, we have my third favorite game of all time, which I mentioned earlier, Kingdom Hearts 3. It's hard to see from this case. You know, it's the Steelbook case version you can see on the spine. It's Kingdom Hearts 3. Really solid and beautiful case, by the way. But yeah, it was a long, you know, 12, 13 year wait for this fucking game. But honestly, it did deliver. The story was really good. Honestly, I would say the story in the second game is a little better, but at the same time, the gameplay in this is so much better. All the new attacks, the new keyblades, all the new special moves, you know, all the Disney theme park moves you can do and shit. It's just so much fun. All the new worlds you get to go to in this are really solid. Like, you get to go to the Tangled World, Monsters Inc., Toy Story, and a couple other ones that are really cool. And it's just really solid. Once again, I cannot recommend this game enough. It's Kingdom Hearts. What else do you want? It's just a fucking perfect game. Buy this today. And while we're on the topic, I do have the Kingdom Hearts Remastered Collections on PS4. Just thought I would mention that. This is my favorite game series of all time. You know, it's just solid. Like I said before, the stories are kind of all over the place, but it's just so much fun to play. And the story is great, even though it's confusing. Just the best game series of all time, in my opinion. This is the Killzone for the PS4. It's called Shadowfall. It's decent. Nowhere near the best Killzone in the series, but you know, it was cool to have one on PS4. Hopefully they make one for PS5, who knows, but you know, it's not horrible. I would say it's worth picking up, especially now. I bought this in 2016 for $10. So for this cheap, it's probably even cheaper now. Pick this up. Worth it. Real quick, I'll mention this. GTA 5. You know, you've seen me do my live streams on the channel, I'm sure. But fucking incredible game. Possibly the best game of last generation. And hell, maybe this generation too. Who knows? Really excited to see how GTA 6 is gonna be, if it ever fucking happens. But I will say this, and I probably will cause controversy for this. This is still, even though it's incredible, my second favorite GTA. My favorite GTA of all time is still Vice City. I know, you know, hold your pitchforks, don't crucify me just yet. Vice City is just, you know, the whole 80s vibe, the music, the gameplay, the story, just the whole 80s vibe is just perfect to me. So Vice City is definitely my favorite. If they ever decide to remake that game, I will pay out the ass for that. You better believe it. This game is interesting to me. Certainly not something I expected. But it's, I will say, a PlayStation exclusive because it's also on PS3. But if I'm right, the PS3 version is only in Japan. Godzilla. I am a huge fan of Godzilla. I think Shin Godzilla is probably my favorite film in the franchise, even though I like all of them that I've seen. Honestly, this game is only decent. I will be honest about it. But I do feel like they did the best they could. Couple complaints. There's one mode, you know, I like the main campaign, that's fine. But there's one mode where you can fight monsters all in a row and kind of unlock them, which is, you know, great. But let's say you get like halfway down the list and you die, you have to start all the way back at the beginning. Very annoying. So I've never been able to complete that all the way. And there's no couch multiplayer, like, you know, local multiplayer, I should say. You have to go online with your friends if you want to fight each other. That is a flaw. Does no one like couch co-op anymore? I mean, I know everyone plays online, but shit, sometimes I really just want to have friends over here. So that is a flaw to me. This game, you can't really tell because of the steelbook case, but this is God of War on PS4. Another game that I would say this is worth buying a PS4 just to play this game. The exclusives on this console are just unbelievable. Just the amount and the quality. This is by far my favorite God of War game, I think. and definitely one of my top PS4 games. It has a really emotional story. It's surprising, and it's, something kind of close to my heart in a way. If you know me, you know why. But yeah, it's a really good story. The revamped, story and gameplay and new mythology, it's just, the transfer into Norse mythology is just incredible. And I really hope they make a sequel to this and kind of keep it the same gameplay style. But yeah, solid game. 10 out of 10. Play it today. This game right here, from what I've played, I would say this is my favorite Final Fantasy of all time. It's hard to see. Final Fantasy 15. And I mentioned this earlier, but if I ever get to do a strategy guide video, I do have the hardcover strategy guide for this. Perfect quality. It's hardcover, includes a lot of really good information. It's just solid. This game you play as Noctis. I recommend watching the anime first before playing it. It's kind of like a prequel to it. It's only like 5 or 6 episodes, so you could watch it in a day. Yeah, just a really cool game. I put over 100 hours into this game. It was great. A ton of really cool side quests. The main story is fantastic. Noctis is a really good protagonist. Just solid all around. I would really like to go back and play this game at some point, but like I said, that backlog just keeps on moving. But yeah, this is a perfect game. I would say it's my favorite Final Fantasy to date that I've played. Definitely worth checking out. Alright, we finally made it to this point. This is my second favorite racing game of all time, so now in this video you know my top 3. Crash Team Racing. This is the PS4 remake. It was originally on PS1. This game is fucking perfect. It's just, it has an adventure mode with a story that's actually really cool. It's not Citizen Kane, but still a good story. What do you expect? The cool thing about this is now they included online play, which is really great. Yeah, it's basically, they also added to this game where you can play the adventure mode and online, but you can customize your karts, and you can give the characters new costumes and shit, which is really cool. One thing I don't like that I noticed is some of the costumes and shit are kind of behind like a timed kind of paywall thing. It's hard to describe, but it's your typical microtransaction bullshit. Of course, it's Activision, so they're gonna do that. But yeah, it's a really solid game. Perfect 10 out of 10. Highly recommend it. And the PS4 version is actually at a really good price. I think you can get it now for what, like $30? Buy it right now. What are you doing with your life? Moving on with some more Crash Bandicoot. This is the Insane Trilogy. This is a remake of the first 3 games of the series on PS1. If you've seen my live streams of this game, you know that even though this game is perfect, it's very frustrating, I think. To put it lightly. And this is one of the few games that even though it's perfect, I get very, very angry while playing it. One day, one of my friends, Adam, he came over, and I got so angry that I launched a controller at him. I do regret doing that, but it's just a really intense game, but a lot of fun. I would like to do another live stream for it at some point, but yeah, check it out. This is another game that, at this point, I think is around $30, so it's pretty cheap. Definitely worth the price. Let's get into some Call of Duty, shall we? What to say about Black Ops 4? Honestly, I do like the multiplayer. I do. Even though, once again, Activision really screwed up their monetization with their games. But yeah, Treyarch is great like always. But here's the problem. You got to realize that, Activision went to Treyarch and they were probably like, cancel your dumbass campaign that you're working on that's probably really good and make a battle royale for us because that's the new fad right now. And you know that's what happened. I would have much rather had a campaign. Luckily, the new Modern Warfare came out with a campaign and it's incredible. So it kind of redeemed themselves. But this, honestly, the zombies is shit too, in my opinion, on this one. So really, the only point in getting this is for the multiplayer. They really missed the ball on that one. Here's another controversial Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare. I am probably one of the few people on the planet I actually like this game. Admittedly, just like everyone else, I hated the initial trailer. I was like, what the hell is this? They're trying to be too much like Halo. They keep doing this futuristic shit and it's not working. But honestly, with the campaign and the multiplayer, I actually really liked this game. The story was much better than I thought it would be. It's not a Halo clone. It's more like a better version of Destiny, honestly, because they go to different planets and shit. It's honestly just a really good, solid game. I liked it much more than I thought I would, and I would recommend it. Especially now it's been out for a couple years, you can probably get it for a decent price. And it seems like there's still a decent amount of players, online on the multiplayer to play with. So check this game out. Give it a chance. I don't think it's, near as bad as people are saying. And speaking of Destiny, Destiny 2. I actually really love this game as well. It's not the best shooter game I've ever played, but it's, in my opinion, just light years, space, light years better, just fantastic compared to the first Destiny. This actually has a coherent story somewhat, which is great. The multiplayer in the Crucible is great. Grinding for gear is fun. The DLC has been kind of hit or miss, just like the original. But I do think the original campaign for this is actually pretty good. It's still not great. It's still awkward that the main character never says anything. If you really want to go and see someone go in depth with this game, check out I Hate Everything's video on Destiny. And Destiny 2, for that matter. He really goes into more detail and describes it better than I do. But I do like the campaign. It is worth playing, I think. And honestly now, at this point, I think Destiny 2 is free to play. So, hey, what's it going to do? Take up hard drive space? Check it out. It's free to play, dog. And my last PS4 game that I want to talk about, Team Sonic Racing. What made me want to get this game, once again, was JKB's review for this. So shout out to him. Definitely check his channel out. Like he mentions in his video, the dialogue and the story is pretty cringeworthy. I hate using that word, but it is true. Very childish, but that's Sonic for you. But yeah, honestly, the racing and the car customization and the online play, it is solid. And it's a lot of fun. And honestly, if you want to see gameplay of it, I've live streamed it before. I just thought of that. Cheap plug. But yeah, I mean, it's a solid game. It's no Mario Kart or Crash Team Racing, but it's still a worthy kart game in my opinion. Definitely check it out. The story's not the best, but the tracks are great. Ignore the shitty dialogue, and customizing your car is cool. So yeah, check it out. It should be at a pretty decent price by now. And if you want to take it on the go, it is available on the Switch. So definitely check it out. Alright, random jump cut for a couple reasons. First off, you can tell I'm wearing a different shirt. This is my old Pokemon shirt that I like very much. It's old, it's starting to fade a lot, but what the hell, I like it. Another thing, since I'm wearing a different shirt, I'll go ahead and explain. this video is taking a little longer than expected to, film. And so it's a different day now that I'm filming. So that's the reason for the other shirt. But also, there's one PS4 game that I forgot to talk about, and a couple other ones that I figured I would mention that I don't have right now because I let some people borrow them. And there's also one thing about the Vita I'd like to talk about again as well. So yeah, first things first, the final PS4 game I'd like to talk about that I was a complete dumbass for not mentioning before: Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Now, it's kind of a weird explanation here. This game came with my PS4, so it's the first PS4 game that I played, and also, surprisingly, this is the first Uncharted game that I ever played. And my god, like I said, I haven't really gone and played the other ones yet, so I can't really compare. But as far as this game goes, absolutely perfect in every single way. The graphics, fucking gorgeous. The story, I won't spoil it, but it's, pretty crazy. It's in depth. You really feel the emotion from the characters and the struggles that they're going through. And, solid control, just solid gameplay, just solid all around, 10 out of 10, a perfect game for me, and a damn fine introduction to the PS4. Because, starting out, I got the Xbox One on launch, so I didn't get the PS4 until, I want to say, June of 2016. So, yeah, I really wanted to mention that. I forgot to talk about it last time. But yeah, and now moving on to my thing about the Vita. Sony decided to come out with these proprietary memory cards. And still, even now, after the Vita's been discontinued, Sony, lower your fucking memory card prices. I cannot stress this enough. The prices for a proprietary card, I think I bought a 16 gigabyte card new, I want to say for like $40 at GameStop. Absolutely ridiculous. You could go on Amazon and get an SD card for way cheaper than that for that size. Yeah, it's just probably the only flaw with that console, I would say. They really dropped the ball on that one, and honestly, it probably is part of the thing that hurt the Vita sales. And speaking of Uncharted, one game that I don't have yet that I would like to play is Uncharted Golden Abyss. It's a full-fledged Uncharted game on a handheld, probably close to PS3 quality. Fantastic. Being able to take that on the go, it just sounds really awesome. I really want to play that game. But, yeah, I tend to ramble on a lot, so now let's move on to the PS3. Now, with the PS3, another thing, it's another console I got into later because I initially got the 360. So I got the PS3, I want to say in 2014, if I remember right, or maybe early 2015. But my first game I played on it, and one of the first two games I bought, Killzone 3. This game is absolutely badass. Now, granted, it's not as cool as the first two on PS2, but this game really is nice. I'm not sure if it was a launch title, but you can tell that it was pretty early release. I don't think it was a launch title, but you can tell it was an early release because they try to shoehorn in all the 6-axis, motion controls with the controller, and it's just really awkward. I think we learned from the Kinect and the Wii and the PlayStation Move, we don't want motion controls. It sucks. It doesn't work properly, and honestly, we just don't really want that in our games to begin with. I think really the only way that controls like that work is with VR. But yeah, Killzone 3 is a solid game. Not as good as the first two, but it's still worth playing. Now, the other game that I initially got on PS3, Modern Warfare 2. Now, with this, I remember back in 2009 when it came out, which holy shit, almost 11 years ago. But hard to think about. But I remember I was in high school and I wasn't working at the time, I don't think. And so I didn't really have the money for this. And I was really hyped for it. You know, it was really still when every single Call of Duty coming out was fantastic every year. And I really wanted to play it. So I borrowed it from my cousin. I beat it in a couple of days. And then I played some multiplayer. And I gave it back. And eventually I got it, my own copy on 360 and whatever. And then I was a dumbass and traded it in. So when I bought the PS3, I bought this again. I played through it again. Recently I saw that they released the Modern Warfare 2 Remastered campaign on PS4. So I'm definitely going to play through it again. I'll probably live stream that, honestly, because it's such a fun game. But yeah, I played through it when I bought it on here. It's just a perfect game. You know, possibly my favorite Call of Duty. Maybe either this or like Black Ops or Black Ops 2. The original Modern Warfare is really good. Advanced Warfare, like I said before. And honestly, the newest Modern Warfare is really fantastic as well. It was a great comeback after the shit show that was Black Ops 4. But yeah, Modern Warfare 2. Buy it, play it, enjoy it. But honestly though, it's such a good game, most of you probably already have. Okay, so the next 3 games I'm going to talk about are really personal to me. Because at the time, these games came out at the end of 2012. I want to say all 3 of them did. And I was going through probably the hardest point in my life at that time. And I was very depressed because I lost a family member. And probably my closest one, honestly. And these 3 games came out, and playing those just really kept my mind off of everything and just kept me straight, and it really got me through it. These games and, you know, Halo 4 came out at the same time on 360. So those 4 games just really brought me through it, and you know, I really appreciate that. You know, a lot of people make fun of video games and, oh, it's a kiddie thing, you know, the stories aren't really that important. But no, I feel like if you really get into gaming and you enjoy it, it really can help you through bad times in your life. And that's special. And the first game I want to talk about through that time, even though there's stickers all over it, Assassin's Creed 3. I don't think I completed this game at the time, so I would like to go back and do that. But this game is really cool because it takes place during the American Revolution. And if I remember, I could be wrong, but I believe you are half white and half Native American, the main character. And that was pretty cool. And you leave your town for some reason and you come back. You know, it's been a while since I played it, so I don't really remember. But you come back and your town is on fire. It's completely destroyed. I think your family gets killed as well. And it's basically just you just fighting to get revenge. And I remember one part that's really cool. You're walking around and you actually see George Washington. And if I remember right, there's a DLC that I never played for this where you basically, George Washington becomes a tyrant. He goes crazy. He's like, I'm the king of America. I rule everything. And you have to assassinate him. And that's pretty badass. So I would really like to play that at some point. The next game that came out at that time that I thoroughly enjoyed and just mentioned, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. This game, if I remember right, takes place in 2025, which, hey, that's coming up soon. Crazy to think about. The campaign is great. You know, it was a really good story continuation from Black Ops 1. The multiplayer is great. You know, the new version of Nuketown on here was fantastic. The zombie mode, I would say, I forget the name of the map, but it's like a farm. It's probably my favorite zombies map in Call of Duty history. And also Nuketown's my favorite multiplayer map in history, so big props to this game. I put a shit ton of hours into it. It's Call of Duty at its best. A lot of fun. Definitely check it out. And then the last game I want to talk about from that time period. I think a lot of people shit on this game, but whatever. Medal of Honor Warfighter. I don't remember the story that well because, you know, it's been almost 8 years. But I do remember I liked it. It wasn't perfect. I feel like during the story there were a couple bugs, but the story itself was gripping. You know, it was, you know, intense. Honestly, not quite sure if there was multiplayer. I'm trying to see. It does say there's multiplayer. I never tried it, but I did play the campaign and I did like it. So yeah, try this game. You know, it's not perfect like I said, but it's not quite as bad as a lot of reviews said, I don't think. And I mentioned this earlier in the video, but this is Silent Hill Downpour. I heard about this game from the fantastic Alpha Omega Sin. You know, one of my all-time favorite YouTube channels. He's really a badass, so check him out. He was talking about, you know, recent game pickups, and he was talking about this game. He kind of mentioned that basically they were kind of starting to get lazy a little bit with Silent Hill at this point, and the monster designs are kind of a little more cliche and plain, and there's kind of some really shitty horror film tropes, you know, modern horror film tropes and basic shit in it, so I'm a little worried about that. But he said you kind of get used to it and it's fine. It's not horrible, so it's Silent Hill. Silent Hill's debatably the best horror franchise of all time, so really excited to check this out. And I wish I would have known, but the 360 version is backwards compatible on Xbox One. So if I had that, I could have, you know, fucking live streamed it at some point, but whatever. Now this is a game, I borrowed it from a friend in high school, and I never completed it, and I regret that to this day, because from what I remember and what I did play, it was very fun. Prototype, the first one. You know, once again, this is a game I haven't really played in forever, but I do remember you're this guy, and I feel like this company or this scientist or someone creates you. You're like a shape-shifting humanoid type person, and I remember you just run around and you just blow shit up. Like, your arms can kind of turn into different guns and cannons, and you just go around just murdering everyone and causing chaos, and it was a lot of fun. It reminds me of another PS3 game that I don't have anymore called Wet. That game is really cool and fun to play. You just kill a bunch of shit. But yeah, this is another game I would really like to play and finish at some point. And this is another game I haven't played yet. That backlog is just never ending. But I've heard that this is possibly the best JRPG on the PS3, and it is exclusive. Ni no Kuni. And sorry for the stickers and the greatest hits case, I know it's shitty. But yeah, I've heard that this game is very long and very high quality and a fantastic story. I believe the main character loses his mom. I don't know if she dies or just disappears or what, but you know, you have to go look for her. And the main selling point for me for this game, because I've really started to get into JRPGs more recently, especially after playing Persona 5, which is my second favorite game of all time. But this game, the art style is done by Studio Ghibli, which has created some of the best anime films of all fucking time. So just that alone makes me want to play this, and really solidifies it as, you know, having a good story. I know that without even playing it. It's a guarantee. And I've heard that it's really long, so you really get your money's worth out of it, and just fantastic all around, so I really want to play this. Not enough time in the day. Another game I picked up recently, so I haven't played yet. Mortal Kombat versus the DC Universe. Apparently it does have some sort of story campaign, which is cool. Obviously now with Injustice out, that's probably better, honestly. But still, I'm interested to see how the DC characters are in this. And being able to fight like Scorpion and Sub-Zero and Kung Lao and all them, it's got to be badass, So I'm pretty hyped for it. I mean, it's got Batman on the cover. What else do you want? This is one of the games that I have played on PS3. And this game was really fun. If I remember right, it is a Suda 51 game, which is great. I believe he's the one that's made the No More Heroes series, and I haven't played that yet, and I would really like to. But yeah, this game is called Lollipop Chainsaw. Once again, there's a shitty sticker in the way. But yeah, this game is cool. You play as I forget her name, but she's a cheerleader in a high school, and like her boyfriend dies, zombies attack the school, and she basically takes his head. You can see on the cover here, like right there, if you can see that, takes his head that somehow still, his brain's still functioning, and attaches it to her hip, and his head is down there for the whole game while you're running around. But you run around with a chainsaw, just, you run around school and some other areas, and you just chop the fuck up zombies. You just obliterate them. And it's so much fun. The control is great, the music's great. A hot main character is always nice, admittedly. But yeah, it's just a really fun game. It's hilarious. The music is great. Definitely check this out. Now this is debatably the best game on the PS3. And the sequel just came out recently that I would really like to play. I bought it, I just haven't gotten to it yet. The Last of Us. I remember when this came out, this is one of the games that really made me want to buy a PS3. Because I feel like when you think about consoles, it really comes down to the exclusives that you want. Just at the end of the day, that's how it is. And The Last of Us is a game that you heard about everywhere at the time. It was just unbelievable. You couldn't get away from it, and for good reason. I won't spoil it, but it's, the story just starts out, just gets right in your head and just fucks with you from the beginning. And it's just a huge roller coaster all the way through until you get to the insane ending. And there is really good DLC for this as well, with Ellie. I really am hyped for the sequel. I really want to start playing it soon. I don't remember too much of this story, so I might kind of replay this first. I'm kind of debating on that. I might just go online and read a short summary of it. Whatever, but this is another perfect game on the PS3. This is one game you have to buy and play. And if you have a PS4 already and you haven't played it, there is a remastered version on PS4, so you can just buy it on there. You don't even need a PS3. Now, I just mentioned this incredible game, Injustice: Gods Among Us. This is a DC universe-based fighting game. It's just really awesome. And if I remember right, it is by the developer of Mortal Kombat. It's just really solid. It actually has a decent campaign. The sequel does too, I think. It's a really solid game. Any game that's DC, I really want to pick up and play because it's Batman and Joker. What the hell else do you want in your life ever? It's just a really fun game. All the characters have really cool special moves that you can perform and just beat the shit out of each other with. And I have to say one thing. I know a lot of people shit all over Aquaman all the time, but in this game, Aquaman is absolutely fantastic. He will rip your face off in a second. He is just brutal, and I love it. So this is just a fantastic game. This will be the first one in the set, on PS3 that's probably a little awkward. But this is Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2012. And this is the one that has, the Masters. So it has the Augusta National course, which is one of the best courses. I really don't know why they didn't include that in all the games. And honestly, because of that, this is probably my favorite Tiger Woods PGA Tour game. I remember I used to have 2003 on the PS2. I have a lot of the can't fucking speak today. I have a lot of the newer ones on, PS3, Xbox 360, and then the Rory McIlroy game on Xbox One. Absolutely fantastic. That might be my second favorite one after this one. I've read that 2K is making a PGA Tour game, but I'm kind of worried about it. It just seems like there's not enough effort put in, and they're kind of rushing it. So I'm really going to wait for reviews on that one, or at least try to get it for a decent price. I don't think I'll pay full price for it. Yeah, this game's cool. It's your typical Tiger Woods golf game shit, but it's solid. And the inclusion of Augusta National really is worth picking this up. Here's another strange thing to admit. And I originally played this on the 360. But this is BioShock Infinite. And this was the first BioShock game that I played. I know, crazy, right? But still to date, I think this is still my favorite BioShock. I really do. And it's just got a really cool fucking story to it. It's about this guy named Booker, if I remember right. Yeah. And you're basically in this city in the sky called Columbia. It's up in the clouds. And there's this weird girl, her name is Elizabeth, and you're searching for her, and it's just kind of strange. You show up in this weird town, and it's really peaceful at first, and it's got just like a really cool art style that not too many modern games have. I think one game I could compare it to with the art style is We Happy Few. I haven't played that yet, but the trailers look really cool. And, I really like that old kind of 50s, 60s art style. I just really dig that in a way. But yeah, this is a solid game. And if you really like BioShock, and you haven't really gotten into much of the older games, get the collection on Xbox One and PS4. I know... Yeah, I think it has 1 and 2 on there. I think. And it might have this. I'm not 100% sure on that because like I said, I haven't played it. But yeah, definitely pick this up and try it out. It's a really solid game. This game is another one that I had on 360 back in the day, and I never finished it for a funny reason. But this game is Far Cry 3. This was the first Far Cry game that I played at the time, and it was funny. I remember the biggest memory I have from the game, from what I played, was I was swimming around in the ocean, and all of a sudden this big ass fucking shark pops up and starts attacking me, and I really was not expecting it, and it was just fucking hilarious. It scared the shit out of me. And I remember the reason I didn't finish this game is because my sister had a dog at the time, and she liked to run around the house, and she was really energetic, and somehow the disc was left out, and she got to the disc and destroyed it. So I never really got to finish this, but yeah, now I have it on PS3, and eventually I'm going to play it again. Alright, this right here is my favorite God of War game on PS3. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. I think it was basically the only one besides Ascension that was on PS3. But this is God of War 3. This game is really badass. It's really all about Kratos just going in and just going ham on all the gods and goddesses and just beating their ass. He is pissed off to no end, and he is ready for bloodshed in this game. and I won't spoil it, but you really go in and just kick everyone's ass, and it's just brutal, it's violent, it's absolutely fantastic. You know, the visuals, the camera design, just the level design, the music, the story, it's just perfect. And the ending is absolutely badass. And when you look at the PS4 God of War, you kind of see how it developed into that. You know, there's a reason why the PS4 game is so different, and that they really go into it and explain that. And, I just really thought that was awesome that they did that. Yeah, God of War 3, another must-have on the PS3. I think it's available on PS4 if you want to buy it on there. So definitely check it out. Now this game might be the most controversial one in my collection that I like, because it seems like literally every single person I talk to about it fucking shits on this game. In fact, you'll see on the sticker right here, I only paid $4 for it, and this was not long after it came out. Duke Nukem Forever. And I can hear people screaming at me already, what the hell's wrong with you? I don't know. It's just, I feel like with most games, you really just can't take it too seriously. And yes, it really was in development hell, kind of like Kingdom Hearts 3, even though Kingdom Hearts 3 just really came out on top. It didn't suffer the way that this game did. But this was really stuck in development for too long. And admittedly, you can tell that it did affect the game in a lot of ways. I do think the graphics and the controls weren't as good as they really could have been, especially on this hardware. The story is decent, it's your typical bullshit Duke Nukem, he's always a badass, he has always the really great catchphrases, and he just goes around and just blows shit up and kills as many pigs as possible. That's the point, You gotta rescue the women, you gotta just blow shit up, and just do whatever you want to do. And I remember, I think the first thing you do in this game as Duke Nukem is you're standing in the bathroom just taking a piss, and you manually get to do it with the controller. And it was just really funny. The humor in this is fantastic. The story is okay, it's not the best. And admittedly, like I said before, it's not a perfect game at all. And I'm sure I'm going to get some comments about this fucking game. But I really do like it. With some games, you just can't take it too seriously. You just have to just get it out of your head. Just kind of let yourself go numb. And this is really a game you can just fuck around with and just enjoy if you don't take it too seriously. So just whatever. Just buy the game, try it out. Especially when you can get it for this cheap now. But I really do hope that they make another Duke Nukem game. Especially in this first-person style. And really do it justice. Because I feel like there's a lot of potential for a modern Duke Nukem game. But yeah, I do like it. I mentioned this earlier in the video, but I figured I would just kind of bring this up real quick. DuckTales Remastered, I talked about it. I think I said everything I really wanted to say earlier. It's cool that they included this and just remastered it. And one cool thing is, I believe they got all the original voice actors back from the show to re-record the voice, and that was just great. And just the new graphic overhaul is cool. There's a lot of cool collectibles, like you can get artwork, you can get songs from the soundtrack, just all kind of unlockables you can purchase, with the coins in the game. And it's just really solid. It was really cool that they brought this back. And it would be nice if they made a newer game like this, maybe like a DuckTales 3. That would be nice. Hopefully one day. This game is a lot of fun, but it kicks my ass. I've never gotten anywhere close to beating it, and whatever. Dark Souls 2. Let's see. You probably can't really see these covers very well. There we go. That's really some badass artwork, honestly. This is the first Dark Souls that I ever played. And really, the key to Dark Souls, honestly, if you're not used to it and you're playing for the first time, it really does seem impossible. But you really just, my key advice, find a spot with a lot of enemies that you're comfortable with, you like the area, and make sure it's close to a bonfire. Just kill all the enemies, go to the bonfire and save, and go back and just rinse and repeat. And just build up a shit ton of souls, be patient, and just take time to level up. That's the key to Dark Souls. Just, don't rush through it, because you're gonna get your ass kicked every single time. Like, I remember first I rushed through it and I got stuck in one part in this forest, and one of my friends can attest to this because he watched me play it. We literally tried to beat that section for probably a total of 6 hours, and we just never got through it, and that's when I stopped playing it, and I haven't played it since. But yeah, one day I would like to take my time and go back and really try to complete this game, because even though it is very difficult, it's a lot of fun, and the control is great. I really like the dark atmosphere and the dark story. It's just really cool. And one of my main complaints with game journalism right now, here we go. Okay. Everyone needs to stop fucking comparing even somewhat difficult games to Dark Souls. Like, I saw recently, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remastered game is coming out soon. And I saw an article with the title, "Oh, this is fucking Dark Souls of skateboarding games." Really? I mean, it is a difficult game, but it's not, this isn't, the pinnacle of difficulty. You know what I mean? Go play anything on the NES and you'll know what difficult is. Or just tons of other games. But this, Dark Souls, really, or Bloodborne, it's not the most difficult shit out there. Stop comparing every goddamn game to this. And it's lazy, and we're tired of seeing it. It's annoying. Stop it, pieces of shit. It's just, it gets really frustrating sometimes, The next game I want to talk about is Battlefield 3. I did play this on 360 first, once again. And this was the first Battlefield game that I ever played. It was really cool at the time to see a game like this, because I was so used to Call of Duty. Because DICE is really just always solid with these Battlefield games. Every single one of them. It just blows my mind. Especially playing this one for the first time in HD. Oh my god, this game blew my mind. It was just, the graphics are unbelievable. Even still to this day, this looks very impressive. The story is really cool. The multiplayer is great and challenging compared to Call of Duty. Battlefield is just a great series. If you've never tried it, you really should. And especially this game, you should get, this, 3 or 4 for really cheap right now. So definitely try it out, because I know Battlefield 4 is on the current gen consoles. And I think Battlefield 3 is backwards compatible on Xbox One, so there you go. Alright, admittedly I haven't played this yet, and I've heard that it's not great, but we'll see. SOCOM 4. I want to have faith in this game, especially with the campaign. I'll definitely try that out, because the SOCOM games on PS2, it's one of the best shooter franchises on PS2. Like, holy shit. I remember watching people play it, and then I eventually played it, and it's just fantastic. So I've heard that this one is only, kind of decent or shitty, but I haven't played it yet. Eventually I will get there. It is PlayStation Move compatible, even though I don't have the Move. It's weird. I remember seeing pictures of it. There's like You can take the move controllers and put them in, and it's like a plastic rifle that you can get for it, which is cool. I mean, it probably sucks, but it's a cool idea. I mean, the Wii did the same thing, but whatever. Then finally on the PS3, I haven't played this, but I have played the older games. And even though I've read that this gameplay style is different, I'm still excited for it. Splatterhouse. There you go. I did play the older games on the Sega Genesis, and those are just side-scrolling greatness. Especially if you like horror films like myself. It's just side-scrolling, just beat-em-up style games with weapons. You just get to beat the shit out of just scary and just creepy enemies. The boss fights are tough, but cool. And in this game, trying to see if it's, still like a side scroller or not. I'm not sure. Or if it's more of kind of like a 3D perspective. But it's Splatterhouse. I've heard that this has a really awesome metal soundtrack, which is always welcome. Because that's my favorite genre. So, I feel like there's just really a lot to look forward to with this game. So I really do want to try it out at some point. I feel like this is a game you could just kind of pick up on a day off from work and just play for a couple hours, It's not too big of a deal. If there is a story, it's probably not anything to get too invested in, So it's just a really good pick up and play style game. But yeah, definitely get to that at some point as well. Now, I would like to start talking about the PS2 games that I have. I have a couple more over here that, you'll see in the video, but these are probably my favorite ones that I would really like to talk about. And I will start with the Midnight Club series here. This game, I remember I played the first one first, obviously. It was my introduction to the series. And it's good, it's solid. But holy shit, Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. I remember playing this. You could go to, I want to say, Atlanta, LA, and is it San Diego? It doesn't really say on here. San Diego, and Detroit, and Atlanta. I apologize. But yeah, you can travel between the three cities, and it's just street racing at its finest in video game form. One of the coolest parts of the game, since it's, a dub edition, is all the car customization. Just really badass. So many options to choose from. And it's just a really fantastic game. I remember beating this. This isn't my original copy, but I did beat this on PS2 back in the day. And this was one of the other games that I really played with my dad a lot. We would kind of go back and forth and do races, and it was just cool. Just drive around the different cities. And that is a good memory for me, and I do cherish that. So this is a really cool, nostalgic game for me. And sadly, I don't have Midnight Club 2 for some reason. I will pick that up at some point. I played it before, but my dumbass, that was another game I traded in. We're such fools as kids selling our shit like that, but you don't have a job. You need money. There's new games coming out all the time, you had to get them somehow. Alright. These games right here, I could talk about for hours. So I gotta kind of be quick with it. Here we go. The game that made me want to get a PS2 in the first place when I was, fucking 7, 8 years old? Kingdom Hearts. Holy shit. This game absolutely blew my mind when I got it. Sora is one of the most badass RPG characters of all time. You cannot deny that. And just the story was fantastic because they take an original story with Sora, Kairi, Riku, and everyone else, and a new enemy, the Heartless, and they rope it in with all these Disney characters in Disney worlds and just create a fantastic story out of it. It's just something that you know, I guess just really wasn't thought of for a while, because it's like, oh, how can you fuck with Disney, you know, how can you change that shit? But this really does work perfectly. You know, just the whole story, you know, Sora, his home gets destroyed by this giant storm, and Heartless show up, and he gets the Keyblade, it just appears to him, you know, he's destined to use it, and it's the main weapon you use against the Heartless, you know, if you've never played. And your home gets destroyed, you wake up in this weird world you've never been to, and you're walking around, and fucking Donald and Goofy show up and meet you, and you start working together. So the entire time throughout the rest of the game, you're fighting alongside Donald Duck and Goofy. And it's just a really cool experience. Except for Donald. I don't care how many potions and spells you load him up with, he will not heal you for shit. So, if you want someone else to heal you and help you out, give Goofy all the potions. Donald will not do shit for you because he is an asshole. But moving on from that, this game right here is my #1 absolute favorite video game of all time. Kingdom Hearts 2. It's going to be really hard to see this, I think, because there's like a glare on it. It's kind of a shiny cover. But yeah, this game right here, holy ass. This is what a sequel truly should be like. It just takes all the game mechanics and the story mechanics from the first game and just fucking runs with it. You know, there's kind of a game in the middle called Chain of Memories that you need to play on Game Boy Advance before you pick this up. Or, you know, just read a summary online about it. But this game takes place, I want to say, it's around maybe a little over a year after the ending of the first game. And, you know, Sora's back again. And, you know, I won't really spoil anything from the end of the first game, but he's back. And the worlds that you travel to in this game are just really badass. I remember you travel to Mulan's world, Pirates of the Caribbean. You go back to like Jack Skellington's world in Nightmare Before Christmas. The Lion King. When you go there, it's really cool because one of the cool things about this game is when you traveled to a different world, there was kind of a theme. So like when you go to Tron's world, there's like a whole suit you have. When you go to the Lion King world, Sora actually turns into a fucking lion and just holds the Keyblade in his mouth. So you're just running around just fucking shit up as a lion. It's just absolutely incredible. You know, and just the story is great, even though this is really when the story started to get really confusing and just kind of going all over the place with Organization 13. But I just cannot recommend this game enough. It really pushed the hardware of the PS2 at the time. The graphics are just perfect. It looks fucking beautiful. The story is absolutely fantastic. Just the chemistry between all the characters is great. It's just an absolutely perfect game and my favorite game of all time. Please, if you've never played Kingdom Hearts before, try it out. You will not be disappointed. I promise you. My God, this is such a great game. I could talk about it forever. Now, this game right here is my favorite GTA game of all time. Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And I know I can hear it already. Oh, what the fuck, dude? GTA 5 is not your favorite. What is wrong with you? GTA 5 is perfect, but it's still my second favorite. To me, nothing can beat Vice City. It's just, you know, fucking Tommy Vercetti's in this. What else do you want? Just the whole 80s vibe, the cars, the music, just being in a beach town. I think it's supposed to resemble Miami, obviously, because of Miami Vice. The story is really cool. You know, admittedly, playing it now, the controls aren't perfect. If you've never played this and you want to see good footage from it, I did do a live stream of it. I think I did 2 videos, actually. But yeah, this game is great. It's, it's GTA. You just drive around, you get guns, you can beat the shit out of people. It really is just a lot of fun and definitely worth playing. I remember back in the day before really, having good access to internet, I would play this game for hours and hours and hours, and it was like a cheat code book or a game magazine in my lap, and it had all the Vice City cheat codes on it. So I'd be sitting there playing the fucking game and have the magazine in my lap with the cheat codes on it, and that was just, it's really funny to think about now that we can just, Google that shit on our phones and it's right there. But back then you really didn't have that. But you didn't need it. Back then this is all you needed. No online play, no nothing. It's just you and the TV and your friends. And this was it, man. This is just fantastic game. This right here is my favorite SpongeBob game of all time. This is SpongeBob, Creature from the Krusty Krab. I'm trying to remember the different worlds that you really go to because it's been a year since I played it. Probably last time I played it was probably like 2007 or 8. So I don't really remember too much from it. But I remember there's one where it's like, oh, SpongeBob gets his license. And he's racing around in these badass crazy cars, and I'm trying to see. Doesn't really say too much about the different levels on here. It says that there's 8 different ones, but that explains a lot, right? But yeah, this is a really cool game. The level design's great. The art style was really interesting at the time. And at the time, the graphics do really look cool. I think the different art style really does help to make it stand out. And it's just a really cool game. I love it. Alright, the next game I want to talk about, which actually I just found out about this game a couple years ago, thanks to my friend Christian. Hopefully you watch this. This game is really cool. It's called War of the Monsters. And I know that this is not backwards compatible, but it's available on the PS4 for like $10. You can download it and play it, and the graphics, it's not remastered, but it's upscaled. It looks fantastic on your TV. And this is just a really cool game. You can tell that these aren't the real, licensed monsters. Like, that's not King Kong, but they really take it, and just put their own liberties on it. It doesn't need to be licensed in any way, you know what I mean? And you just kind of go around these different cities and you fight other monsters and you just destroy shit. There's a multiplayer mode where you can, pick your own monster and you fight each other and just rampage through the cities together. And it's just really awesome. It's just a really cool game. It says that there are 10 different monsters to pick from. Yeah, like you can pick up cars and shit and throw them. Like, it's just a really fun kind of arcade style game. And speaking of monsters, I think there are 2 different Godzilla games on PS2. And I think they're on the Xbox as well. And I would really like to play them because Godzilla is my all-time favorite monster, hands down. And just, I would really like to play those games. And just fight all the different monsters and destroy shit. Just, those games look like a lot of fun. And if they're anything like this, they will be a lot of fun. Check this game out, it's really cheap. Plus, like I said, it is on PS4 if you just want to buy it on there. Oh shit, almost dropped a game. Now this game was really cool because back in the day, I still like it, but I'm not as invested as I was at the time. But this is my favorite WWE wrestling game. SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. There's that. And right there, my favorite wrestler of all time, The Undertaker, which I believe he just retired finally, recently, which is pretty sad, but, even though this is entertainment, it is actually really physically demanding on these guys and the women, obviously. But it does take a toll on you. And God, he's been wrestling since what, the late 80s, early 90s, I mean, shit, how much further could he go? At some point you have to just acknowledge that you're getting older and it's just not worth the risk anymore. He's made his millions. He's set for life. He could have quit probably 10, 15 years ago and been fine. But anyway, back to the game. I'm trying to remember because I had another one of these games at the time when I was growing up. But there was one of these where in the career mode, you even had your own like dressing room or little apartment. I don't know what you would call it, but you could customize it and put your own shit in there, and it was just really cool. It was a really cool feature, You could put your championship belts in there and shit and show them off. The soundtrack in these games are really cool, and I know that 2K has been making these games recently. They're okay, but it's not the same as this shit right here. And I bought this for $10, If you have a PS2, this game is super cheap. Definitely a lot of fun to have, You could really play it by yourself or with friends. It's fun either way. And, these are the wrestlers that I grew up with at this time and that I watched. So, going back and playing this game, it is just really nostalgic for me. Around this time was WrestleMania 23, and I think still to this day that is my favorite WrestleMania. It was the first one I watched, and I remember my mom got it for me on pay-per-view for my birthday that year, and we watched it together. I remember we watched it with my grandpa as well, and it was just a really cool time. But yeah, I like wrestling a lot. I would like to start getting back into it again. It's kind of awkward right now with just sports in general due to the virus, because there's no fans around. But, hopefully everything will go back to normal eventually. But play this game. A lot of fun. And the last game I want to talk about on PS2, sadly I haven't played it yet, but I saw a video with Alpha Omega Sen once again talking about it, so I had to check it out. Because every game he talks about that I've played is just incredible. Onimusha. This game is fantastic. It takes place in feudal Japan back in the day. And let's see. Basically there's a princess that gets kidnapped, and you have to try to rescue her. And you just go around and you just kick the shit out of a ton of people. And apparently it's just a lot of fun. I haven't really seen much gameplay from it, and I haven't played it, but it does look really cool. I could be wrong about this, but I think that initially this was supposed to be a Resident Evil game. And because it is Capcom and everything, I'm glad that they didn't really go in that direction, because I don't think it would have worked, obviously. But still, it seems like a really cool game, and I'm pretty hyped to play it. Alright, now that we're done with the PS2 stuff, we're going to move on to the GameCube. I feel like it's so weird right now, because maybe at the time it was kind of a very underrated system, but it seems like now it's really starting to blow up, and it's insane. Like right now, admittedly, and I hate to admit it, I've never played Super Mario Sunshine. I just never got around to it, and I never had a copy. And I'm trying to buy one now, and the prices are just insane. I've seen prices for it anywhere between like $70 to $200. And the $200 one wasn't even like new sealed or anything like that. So it's insane what people are charging for GameCube games now. So it is honestly a really hard system to try to collect for right now. But whatever. Alright, so the first game I want to mention for the GameCube and it's probably the most obvious one for people. Super Smash Bros. Melee. This game is absolutely incredible. Probably, I think most people would say this is the best Smash Brothers. I would say it's either this one, the original, or Ultimate. Ultimate has everything from this game, so I mean, doesn't that kind of make Ultimate better? But you know what I mean. I feel like one of the things people like so much about this is using the GameCube controller with it, because the GameCube controller is debatably the best Nintendo controller, and it's really cool and really nice for a fighting game like this. So I mean, just tons of characters. Like, I'm trying to think of some of the new characters that came out on this one. I think Zelda was new in this game. There were some new Pokemon that were added as items and shit. I'm really kind of drawing a blank here. I don't really remember. It's been, I think Mr. Game & Watch is on here. Yeah, I'm just kind of drawing a blank here. Zelda's on here. Fuck, man, it's been a while since I've played it, but tons of new characters, tons of new stages. Even at the time, you really got your money's worth out of this game. And even now, I'm sure the prices are really jacked up on it, but this is the same copy of the game I've always had. And, it's just definitely worth playing and checking out day one if you buy a GameCube. This game I finally got recently, so I haven't played it yet, but it's pretty rare and it can be kind of expensive, so I think I got it for a really good price. Tales of Symphonia. Now, I have a decent amount of Tales games, especially on PS4, but I've heard that every single one of them is incredible. And I've heard that this is possibly the best one, like either this one or the one on 360. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say because I haven't played it, but it is interesting because if you look, it's on 2 discs, so it's got to be a fucking huge game. It is a JRPG. It definitely seems like this is a game that you could drop over 100 hours in easily. But yeah, it says right on the back over 80 hours of gameplay, which is solid. Definitely, I would say, if you really want to get into games that have really good stories and they're long enough to truly get your money's worth out of them, JRPGs all the way. Because, like, I don't know if you would really consider Kingdom Hearts a JRPG. Maybe that's more of an action RPG, but Kingdom Hearts, Persona 5, the Tales games, Ni no Kuni, trying to think, Disgaea, Final Fantasy, I don't know, there's just tons, Dragon Quest, there's tons of fucking fantastic RPG games out there to really get into. And you just really get your money's worth, and they're all great. So definitely try to get into more, can't fucking talk. Definitely try to get into more RPGs. It's definitely worth it. This is also a recent pickup, so I haven't played it on the GameCube yet. I played it on PS2 back in the day. Resident Evil 4. I know it's at like a weird angle, but I'm trying to get rid of the glare. And I paid $20 for this. Holy shit, at like a really good local game store that I like. That just seems like a really great price to me. It's in, perfect condition except for the sticker. Eventually I'm going to take that off. But yeah, like, this is in fantastic shape. And it's one of the best Resident Evil games ever made. And it's just, I really am surprised that I got it for such a good price. But yeah, it's another GameCube game that's on 2 discs, which is interesting. I don't really know the story behind that. Maybe it is just too big of a game. I don't know. Nintendo always really misses the ball with their hardware in their games. Like with this, I've read reports that the GameCube was even more powerful than the PS2, which is insane to think about. But the fact is, they use these small proprietary discs with limited space and everything, and it really held back developers. And Nintendo has such a big problem with that. Like with the Wii was just supposed to be an add-on for the fucking GameCube. It wasn't supposed to be a console. And that really shit the bed. You know, it sold well, but... And there are some good games on the Wii. But as far as the console itself, was just a shit show, honestly. And now with the Switch, I feel like they just really just are taking a hit on the hardware and the graphics. They really need to make a dedicated console and just put it in 4K and everything. Now don't get me wrong, I do think that the Switch is very impressive, but it's just, you know, and I love the Switch to death, but I really want to see Nintendo come after it in the next generation with just a really hardcore, solid, actual console that's in 4K, 60 frames a second at least, and just go, you know, full send with it. That's really what they need to do. They've needed to do that for years. And even back with the N64, with the cartridges, I love N64, but just think, if they would have gone with the N64 DD and the disc, you know, concept, it probably would have honestly blown the PlayStation out of the water. Which is crazy to think about, but they just, once again, went with cartridges and it just really held the system back. So Nintendo, they just really need to get their shit together. I don't know why they keep holding themselves back, you know, hardware-wise. This game is cool, and honestly, I never hear anyone talking about it, which is strange. You know, it's because it's a really great game. Mario Superstar Baseball. Let's get a view there. Okay. Decent. But yeah, this game is actually very badass. You know, it's Mario, obviously, and it's just your standard kind of regular baseball game. It's honestly probably my favorite baseball game of all time. And it's really cool because if you hold down the one of the triggers, you can do, like, each character has their own, like, special, I don't want to call it attack, but like special move when you hit the ball, or like special pitches that you can do. And it's just really cool that they incorporate something unique for each character like that, you know. And it really is just a solid, fun game. I have a lot of really good memories playing this, you know, by myself and with my dad. You know, he really loved this game and I enjoyed playing it with him. So yeah, just a really fun game. I haven't really looked this up recently, so I don't know what the price is like, but honestly, no matter what the price is, it's definitely worth it for this game. Next up is another Mario sports game that I really like. Mario Power Tennis. Which I really hope that they come back with a new Mario golf game on the Switch. I love Mario Golf to death, and I think that would be a really fun game. I want to say the last one was, what, on Game Boy Advance, or the one on GameCube? You know, like, holy shit, it's been forever. So we definitely need a new one. But yeah, Mario Power Tennis. It's basically pretty similar to the style of the baseball game. Each character has their own, like, special, unique shots that you can perform that are, you know, it's just really cool and a lot of fun. Yeah, like, let's see if it'll show this. Maybe not. But you see Mario right here, right there? His special attack is like a hammer. And he hits the tennis ball with that and just fucking knocks it back at you super hard. And it's just really badass. And there's some, like, cool different mini games you can do and stuff. Like, it's just really a solid game. And this is probably my favorite game on the GameCube. or at least the most nostalgic. Mario Kart Double Dash. Now this was cool at the time for multiple reasons. For one, all the new tracks, like every Mario Kart, were just immaculate. And for the first time, you had two different riders on each kart. And each character, once again, had their own like special items you could use. Like Yoshi could throw eggs, Mario and Luigi could throw fireballs at people. Bowser had this big ass like Koopa shell that you could throw. And it was just a really cool game. And this and Mario Kart 64, I played pretty much every single night with my dad. And that's one of the best memories I've ever had with my dad. So these games are just really nostalgic and really cool. And I don't know, I just enjoy these games very much. It's Mario Kart, and it's one of the best ones ever made. Just a really fun game. And last but not least, on the GameCube, I just talked about this, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. It's really hard to see this one. But yeah, it's the Mario Golf. You know, it's Mario Golf. It's just like the one on N64, but on steroids. You know, pretty much all the same characters. You know, Birdo is in this one. Daisy and Waluigi are in this one. But yeah, like, the cool thing about sequels like this, if you enjoy the original games, is you get cool new things, like especially the new courses. Fantastic. I don't think there was like a story mode or anything like there was on the Game Boy Advance Mario Golf. But yeah, this game is really cool. If you like the one on N64, you'll definitely like this one, and vice versa. Alright, now we will move on and talk about the Wii U. Now, we'll go ahead and start right out of the gate. This is by far the best Wii U game that I've played. Super Mario 3D World. There we go. This game is so much fun, and I would probably say my top 3 Mario games are Mario Odyssey, Super Mario 64, and then this one right here is in 3rd place. Holy shit. This game is just so much fun. Back when I was talking about the 3DS, I was talking about Mario 3D Land. Basically, this is the same type of game, but I think this one's better, obviously, because it's on a console. And also, this game introduced the cat suit, which you can see right here on the cover. So, you know, you're running around in the 3D levels, and if you have the cat suit, and you come up to a wall, and like you see coins, you know, up at the top or whatever, you use the cat suit, and you can climb up the fucking wall. Or if you make it to the flagpole at the end, you can climb up the pole and get, you know, the highest score there. And that was just a really cool, inventive thing for them to add to the game. You know, I don't know how they do it, but with every iteration of a Mario game, they keep adding this cool new shit to it, these new things, and it just always works. I don't know how they keep coming up with this stuff, but it works every time, and I appreciate it. You know, they always try to do something new to keep it fresh and push the boundaries, because, let's face it, we're really not playing these games for the story, because it's just always Mario saves Peach from Bowser. That's it. But somehow, they string us back in with such good level design and music, and just the characters are great, and it just somehow works every time. Just highly recommend this. If you buy a Wii U, buy this with it. And it's so strange now that the Wii U didn't do so well, and it's discontinued now. So these games are really starting to become hard to find. So if you find a good deal on these games, go ahead and buy them while you can. Because I'm sure over time, if they haven't already, these prices are going to skyrocket. It's honestly really sad, because people deserve to really have good access to these games. Now this next game, I got it because I knew it was going to sell out quickly, and I'm glad I did because I haven't been able to find it since. Sadly, I haven't played it yet, but I'll get there. And I haven't played the original version either. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD. There you go. I've seen footage from this, and it's interesting because the visual style is a little more like realistic graphics in a way. And I'm sure that this looks much better than the shit Wii version did. Because God, the Wii just looked fucking horrible all the time. That GameCube add-on, that was supposed to be. But yeah, I mean, this just looks really cool. And you see, earlier in the video, I have the Wolf Link amiibo on my shelf, which is nice. It came with this. Yeah, you know, like I said, I can't really say much about this game because I haven't played it. But I've heard it's good. You know, it's Zelda. What do you expect? So I'm definitely going to play it at some point. Here's another game I haven't played yet, but I've heard it's really cool. Hyrule Warriors. You can see badass Link on the cover there once again. Now this is a Dynasty Warrior style game, but it's with the Legend of Zelda characters. And if you've never played Dynasty Warriors before, it's like there's a tons of playable characters, and you pick one and you just run through, and all the enemies are just fodder. There's thousands of enemies all over the place, and you just fucking shred them. You just go through all of them. And it's just kind of, it's a fun game, but it's kind of like mindless fun, if you know what I mean by that. You just run through, just slash everything in sight, and it's just so much fucking fun. I cannot recommend these games enough. And if you like it, this is a Zelda version of Dynasty Warriors. So it's just the best of both worlds. So like I said, I haven't played this yet. I have played some of the Dynasty Warriors games, so I kind of know what to expect. And if it's anything like those games, this would be absolutely incredible and will give you hours of fun. Definitely check this out. Now this game I have played, and it's actually really cool. I haven't beat it, because admittedly it is a little, you know, it's kind of difficult. And they have re-released it on the Switch. I'm not sure if I will pick up the Switch version or not yet, because I have this, but whatever. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. This game is just absolutely badass. The Donkey Kong Country series, one of the best Nintendo series of all time. It really is. Just the graphics, the gameplay, the music. The fucking music is probably the best thing about these games. Especially on Super Nintendo. When Donkey Kong Country came out, it was just something that people had really never seen before. And it really pushed the boundaries of that hardware. And I feel like this does the same. Like, this is the first one in true HD, because it's on the Wii U. This game is fucking beautiful. Like, it really pushes the boundaries, I feel like. And the level design is great. It's difficult, like I said. But there is an option for multiplayer, which is really cool. And, yeah, I definitely want to try to beat this someday. Even though it's kicked my ass. But yeah, Donkey Kong Country. Buy every single one of these games that you can get your hands on, because they're all worth it. They're all perfect. And it's just, I don't even know what to say anymore. Just buy this fucking game. And the last one I want to talk about on the Wii U, even though I haven't played it yet, Star Fox Zero. This game, I feel like it's becoming really hard to find. It's another one of the Wii U games where I saw it and I bought it, and I'm just glad that I did, because I have not seen it again. I think I've seen it once used, and it was just a fucking ridiculous price. But anyway, I haven't played it, so like I said, once again, I can't really talk much about it. But I do love Star Fox as a series. Star Fox and F-Zero are one of those series that on Nintendo that just does not get enough credit. And I feel like Nintendo just does not give enough love to these series. Like, this is the first Star Fox game since when? You know, what, Star Fox 64 maybe? Was there one on GameCube or the Wii? Not that I know of. I could be wrong. But holy shit, like this, F-Zero, Metroid, they really do not give enough attention to these games. And they really should. They really should come out with new games on the Switch. I did see that they finally announced Metroid Prime 4 on the Switch, which is really nice. I can't wait for that. But about fucking time. You know, when's the next F-Zero gonna come out, if ever? You know, Nintendo, why are you holding these fantastic games from us that you could be making so much money off of? It's ridiculous. But yeah, it's Star Fox. If it's anything like the other games, it'll be absolutely fantastic. So I cannot wait to play it. Okay, I think the last thing that I really want to talk about in this video is something that you saw on my shelf, but I didn't really get to talk about it earlier. Well, two things actually. Up there, I do have the collector's edition of Halo Reach on Xbox 360. That game, you know, it's up there. It's probably in my top 3 Halo games. And it's funny because the campaign and the story is fantastic, even though Master Chief is not in it. When you think about it, it's just kind of blasphemy to think about, but it's true. And it's weird, like I remember it was the first Halo that I really played online, and I had one friend that I went to high school with, and he would play that online with me, and that was the first game where I really had a friend that I consistently played online with. So I do have a lot of nostalgic memories for that game, and getting the getting the collector's edition in such good condition was just, it was really cool to buy. I think I got it, you know, like 6 months ago, and they only charged me like $40 for it at the store. So I feel like I really got a good deal on that, you know? And it's one of my favorite games to have on the shelf. It's just really awesome. And now the last thing I want to bring up, this thing, sadly, it's kind of hard to get. I honestly don't even know how I was lucky enough to get one. But if you can find one for a good price, definitely pick it up today. This is the Super Nintendo Classic. I don't have an NES Classic, sadly, but I was able to get this. Now this right here is cool because, honestly, when you think about it, these Super Nintendo games, especially a couple of these, the prices for these fucking cartridges are through the roof. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Like, these are games that I don't think I'll ever have in my collection. A lot of these. So it's really cool to have something like this for a reasonable price when it came out. Because, like, let's look at the games here. Contra 3, Donkey Kong Country, fucking Earthbound. Possibly the rarest and best Super Nintendo game is on this, and you get to play it. Like, this is, you know, this is probably the best way for you to play Earthbound on a budget, unless you like emulate it or whatever. But this is an official Nintendo release. But yeah, Earthbound is on here. If you try to buy a cartridge, you know, look up the prices for that. It's fucking unreal. And I feel like that's a game that you want the strategy guide for it too. And to try to get those together, unreal. I will never be able to afford that. So it's cool that you can play that on here. So Earthbound, Final Fantasy 3, which is really Final Fantasy 6, but whatever. F-Zero, Kirby, Mega Man X, Secret of Mana, one of the best RPGs on the fucking Super Nintendo. Star Fox, Star Fox 2, which if you didn't know, never got an official release by Nintendo. So it was cool that they finally included it with this. Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Super Castlevania 4, which is my favorite Castlevania game of all time. Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario Kart, which is the first Mario Kart. Super Mario RPG. Holy shit. Gino and Mallow. Put them in Smash Brothers. It's what we want. Nintendo, make nice with Square Enix. Put them in Smash Brothers. And then give us a sequel to Super Mario RPG. We have wanted that game since the 90s. So you really need to talk with Square Enix and make nice and make that game happen. Do you realize how many copies that shit would sell? Literally pretty much every single Nintendo fan wants that game. Holy shit. Please give it to us. But, yeah, Super Mario RPG. Super Mario World, which is basically Super Mario Bros. 4. Super Metroid, which was cool because it was the first Metroid game that had a map, which helped a lot. Super Punch-Out, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, which is debatably the best Zelda game, I think. And Yoshi's Island. So it's like, especially for the price, I mean, it really does suck that these are so hard to find, and they're pretty much impossible to find now. But even at the time, you know, people bought these in bulk, and they are trying to scalp these online, which is fucking depressing. I would never do that to anything in my collection, because I don't like to fuck over people. But if you can get your hands on one of these for a reasonable price, think about it. Think about trying to buy all these cartridges. It would cost you probably a couple grand. You know, especially if you wanted like boxed copies of these games. But you could get this, I think I paid 60 or 70 bucks for it at the store at the time. I got pretty lucky, but still. Compare that to the price for these cartridges. Seriously, Google, go on eBay or Amazon or whatever and look at the prices for these games. It's unreal. So if you can get your hands on one of these, buy it immediately. If it's for a decent price, don't pay fucking hundreds for it. But still, this thing is amazing. If I remember right, it comes with 2 controllers. And it's so weird because the console itself is like this big. It's fucking small. But it's hilarious. And another cool thing is, since it's a current re-release of these games, this console comes with an HDMI output. So not only are you getting these games for a good price, but the visuals on these games, they're upscaled, and they just look absolutely fantastic in HD. They're fucking beautiful. So yeah, I cannot recommend this enough. If you can find it for a decent price, definitely pick it up. Just absolutely just pick this up. But yeah, I mean, trying to look around, I don't really think there's much else that I could talk about. But yeah, if you made it this far into the video, because I know it's probably going to end up being a couple hours long, but hey, I like to talk and ramble on about things I care about. But yeah, if you made it this far, or even if you watched the first 5 minutes, I really appreciate it. This is a YouTube video that I've been wanting to make for years now and just never really found the right time. And I was always kind of worried about shooting the video on my phone, but I think it's going to turn out pretty well. I feel like. We'll see. You know, who knows, I might have to reshoot all this shit. But yeah, I feel like this turned out pretty well. You know, hopefully my rambling on about all these games didn't bore you. If you are interested in some of these games and you never played them, you know, put a comment down below and ask me about them, and I'll go into more detail about the games. You know, I would highly recommend all these ones that I've talked about. They're great. And the ones I haven't played, I've heard they're great. But yeah, if you have any questions about any of these games, feel free to ask me down in the comments. And feel free to like this video and subscribe. And hey, if you really feel like it, share it with your friends. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much with me just talking. I feel like a video like this really needs to be intimate in a way, you know, very personal. I feel like it needs to be really me just connecting with you and just really talking about the games that I love. You know, I've been playing video games since I was, God, 4 or 5, 6 years old, and it really truly has been a lifelong passion and hobby. And so it's just something I really like to talk about. It does suck that I don't have many of the games I used to. I didn't really stop trading in my games until like 2015. So a lot of good games I used to have I don't anymore, and I'm slowly trying to buy all those games back. But yeah, another thing, I would also kind of like to do a vinyl collection video or CD, and to talk about music, because I fucking love music too. And I would also maybe eventually like to do a video on my Blu-ray collection, because I have a decent amount of movies and I love horror movies, so I'd probably do a video about that. But yeah, I have a lot of ideas. If you have any suggestions for videos or games you would want me to live stream, or like I said, you have any questions about any of these games or systems I talked about, just leave a comment and let me know. And, you know, we'll see what happens. But yeah, thanks guys for checking out this video. I hope you all have a great day. And just, yeah, I just really appreciate your support on the channel.